oh crap, we didn't put in the microphones before. Hopefully this won't cut the microphone.
Don't make Viking charades thing again.
Huh?
Don't do the Viking charades thing
No,
again.
that's right. Okay, I forgot to plug in the microphones. If I plug in, so last time we tried to send live and we had to change the audio input mid-sending. It didn't accept any sound, and Karl was doing charades for the rest of the day. So
yeah, you're trying to avoid
we're not going to use the microphones today because I'm afraid if I plug them in now, I will either have to restart the setting or Karl has to do charades for 1 hour. And considering how talkative he's been lately, I don't think that's a good idea. Anyway, hi. I have Karl here, and we got the light up there now so that he can do his crafting. Notice how much he did not get painted last week? See that beautiful green and brown on there? What the hell were you painting last week? Ah, you were painting this one. Oh, so you got that far. Okay, but this is the one you built. So which one do you want to continue painting on?
It doesn't really matter.
You have to continue painting. These are Karl's Warhammer. He needs a hobby too. But one piece of hobby that you do not have, which is quite crucial, is beer.
I'll go and get some.
You forgot your beer, and I think we're all out of the creative beer now.
So I just have to put him away. And
should I go look for you, or do you want to find it?
Because he generally doesn't like to be moved. So
no, but he generally comes back as soon as you crack open a beer too. Yeah. No. So anyway, Karl doesn't. I think we're out of all of the beers that are weird that he hasn't tested yet. So we have to go shopping. But fortunately, we have lots of Belgian beer, and we have Belgian beer and Lithuanian beer, the beer Zichi. So hang on a minute, and I'll go find it because he, of course, went right past the beer and out the door. Talk amongst yourselves. We're screwed. It's all strong beer. He's only got literally the Belgian and the Lithuanian left, but he's been savoring the Lithuanian ones. Let's see. Yeah, this is the Lithuanian. This one's from Audra, I believe. If it's not backwards on screen, otherwise I'll have to turn around. Is it backwards? It's backwards! Let's see. Nah, I didn't realize it until today, or that we've been sending these backwards. So that's the beer, the Lithuanian beer. This is Lithuanian, yeah, it's not Belgian. And I got your beer for you. You went right past it and out the door. Let's see. I have no idea what percentage this thing is, but I guarantee you he's going to be pretty sure. Yeah, you took too flipping long. You went the wrong route. 5%, there it is. I see it up at top. So there you go, Karl. We're down to Belgian and Lithuanian, so I assuming your painting here is going to go to shit.
It's worth it.
We shall see how he does today. All right. And then we'll turn it there. Okay. Here you are. There's your glass, your tippy glass. Not to be confused with the water glass for your paint. You've had that one before, I'm sure of it. It's just been a long time. And you went like this. Ooh. When you drank it.
That sounds like a good sign.
Yep. Okay, so you get to do that. Then we'll say hi to chat here. James has now challenged me again. I see he says, James says, I'm working on a Japanese knot technique that you can use. That you can use the whole skein of yarn. I think he means skein. On the right Tunisian crochet tool with the yarn on it. And the other tool is the other one that I do with the knotting with. So, no, you got me on that one. I don't know. I'm looking up Japanese knot technique, and it's, a bunch of those multi-knots where they pull the yarn through a couple times. But one that uses a whole skein I could not find. But I didn't know this one either, but if there's a video, this lady that works with yellow yarn, and she's got like some sort of a Russian, Ukrainian, or I don't know, somewhere accent. She does amazing videos for knitting, and that one actually has one that was called 2 Variations of the Knot Stitch, Japanese Knitting. So that one looks quite cool because I don't think I've ever tried that one before. She's called 10 Rows a Day. Anyway, if you haven't seen her, by the way, and you're a knitter, you'll absolutely love her. She's really good. So I'm trying to figure out I know what a Tunisian crochet hook is. Actually, I have one over there. It's like a really long knitting needle, one of those single ones, but it has a crochet hook on the end. So it was like a knitting needle and a crochet hook had a baby, and that's a Tunisian crochet hook. Anyway, and you could do things like pioning on there is what the Norwegians call it, or Tunisisk heckling.
But as a Viking textile lady, you are completely historically accurate by having no idea about what the Japanese are doing.
Thank you. I appreciate the support. Sorry, James, I tried. This one you got me on. I'm not sure what that is. But I know the tools you're working with, so this is going to be fun. I have to dig into this rabbit hole later. Albert's here. Garcia's here. Susan Youngman's here. She's in the Adirondacks again, back in the United States. And her car is frozen to the driveway. Oh, God. I heard you're going to get like quite a few snowstorms this year over there. I think you've got 2 or something. You're supposed to maybe get about 5. Meanwhile, avalanche season is coming, and we should be like on the cusp of it now. But there's not a lot of snow stacked up on the top of the mountains, so I don't think it's going to be that impressive this year. I think it's just ice.
I think we'll get stone and mud instead then.
Yeah.
It depends on how much it rains.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that also mean we're going to have a dry year because we don't have a lot of snow melting up there? I mean, there could be more way back, but on the top of our mountain, on our horizon, if you want to call it that, there's not much. I have tea, gingerbread. So it'll be interesting to see how the season goes, but Runa also thought, which, by the way, Heidi's here. So Heidi's brother Runa, anyway, he also thinks it might not be a very impressive year. But then I was looking up for avalanches. But then I was looking up Norwegian avalanche season, thinking it was going to show me which months. But no, it says like every 13th year is a really good avalanche year. But 5 Norwegians die on average due to avalanches. I don't think they're all Norwegians. I think they're mostly French people trying to climb.
It's probably 5 Norwegians here.
Yeah.
But when you hear about the big accidents, it's usually foreigners.
Quite a few foreigners, yeah. In a row, they're out on a ski trip or something, and they
because
don't know what to look
Norwegians
for?
Go into 2 categories. You have the people who know how avalanches work and are not afraid of them, and you have the people who don't know how they work and are afraid of them.
Yeah.
When it comes to the foreigners, you have the people who don't know how they work and are not afraid of them, and that's the people who keep getting squished.
But they have mountains in France, so last time I think it was French people, but
Yeah, but it's not.
what's so special about Norwegian mountains?
The people who come to Norway to ski
Yeah.
are not normally skiers, or at least many of them are not. They are flatlanders from their flatlands, and then they
Flatlanders.
come to Norway and see what we topographically look like and go, huh, I should probably ski.
Not to be confused with flat earthers. That's a completely different thing.
There is a slight overlap, but
I was going to say, and then Torben's here. He says hello from the dungeon. Torben has been sending us some messages. We're going back and forth on Warhammer Geek Hardware here, and Torben's making you look bad. You have to see this. So we have this really messed up lighting situation today. It's on a paint bucket and sitting up there. Anyway, but Torben, he has, let's see, oops, I turned it the wrong way again. I have to catch up on here. Torben shows me his. I got to show you this. Let's see. Where? Look at this thing. It's like, oh, he's got like the holy workstation, Karl. Your workstation sucks compared to Torben's workstation. Do you have anything to say about this? Why is Torben's workstation better than your workstation? I mean, our light is literally being supported by paint buckets at this point.
I would guess it's because he wears makeup.
Is he wearing? No, I didn't see makeup in that photo. He said he also could use it as a selfie light, and he had like this black and white photo of him looking like he could compete with you on the beard soon, by the way. Winter's treating you well, Torben. Anyway, he also has a different kind of stand than you had. So you've got this thing that you can, this is the Citadel one, because we're posh and we go with name brand here. basically, for lack of knowledge. But anyway, you can put the thing in here, and then you can like paint it without actually touching it. It's quite cool. But Torben's got one that's got like, he had them special made. That's right, special made for him, where it has like a little thing that goes up here and holds it like that. There's even a brush rest on it, and then he can swivel it while still holding it still. Is this like a penis extension contest or?
I'm kind of unfamiliar with it. So when I bought this, I saw two different variations. It was either this one, or one that could hold like 8 models in a row, and that's used for when you spray on the base coating. And I came to the conclusion that I don't really need that, because they're just standing on a cardboard inside the cardboard box when I spray them anyway. So I don't need to have a special holder for that. The thing that Torben has, I've never seen it before.
No, I haven't either, but he said he had it made for him. He did. He did.
Yep, I believe it.
So, he says, hello from the dungeon anyway. So now we know what Torben's dungeon looks like. It's got like a rainbow of lights in there with or an arch. Oh my god, that cat is so cute. You have to see. You have to see. Look at him sitting there. That would be Fuzzy. He said, yeah, they're custom made. He had them custom made. Okay, I'll flip it back around again. Okay, so we don't go too long. Let's see. Maggie's here from Colorado, so she knows what snow's like. Amaro's here from Belgium. Lindsay's here. Kansas, if I remember. No, Texas, that's right. Lindsay Langley's in Texas. And Arlene is here. She's from up in Winnipeg. They have a lot less snow this year as well. Upper states are getting it all today. -5 degrees and sunny. We have this really weird phenomenon. I don't know if I've noticed it before and just kind of forgot about it, but yesterday the wind starts blowing like, man, you can just hear the garbage can going bloop, 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 and I thought this is going to go on all night. So I went out to go and grab it, and you can feel the wind. It takes the door and everything, but it's not cold. It has been flipping frigid for about 2 weeks. We've been flying through wood like mad. But it was almost warm. There was no cold in the breeze.
The phenomenon is called föhn wind in Norwegian.
Yeah.
Which is basically hairdryer wind.
Fern is, you also use that with the snow, explaining snow piles. Did you say fern?
Fon. That's
that's fon. Okay, that's different. Fern is a hairdryer.
I can't remember having seen the phenomenon here in Gudvangen before, but it's more common at home in Sverige.
But what is it exactly? Because I don't even know if I've experienced that in Duluth. We only have cold air.
No, but you either have the cold lake wind or you have the cold land wind.
It's
you like
jet stream.
It's rare. It doesn't happen often, but I've seen it in Sverige multiple times, and we saw it here yesterday.
It was last night. It was like warm, and then we checked the temperature, and it was like a high of 6 in the wind, but it felt like 3. But that was like plus degrees in Celsius, so which is really nice considering we just had minus 13.
I would say that it felt warmer than 3 because the wind was warm.
The wind was warm, yeah. If it wasn't like, then it started to rain just a little bit, kind of like somebody spitting on you kind of rain, so it got annoying, and then I went back in. But otherwise, I would have stayed out much longer. Drea is here. She says, hello, I'm doing some Viking wire weaving this morning and sipping tea. I'm also learning a Renaissance era dance, a Finnish stick dance called Tikkuristi. Oh, I have to look that one up. My neighbor teenagers saw me, ... Usually if they're doing a stick dance, or some would call it a pole dance, they throw money at you. Or the kids join in. Not the right one. No, okay, maybe it's the other one. There's one where you have like this stick that's like the length of a broomstick, and you have to try to move around it without falling down. And there's another one where you take it like this, and you have to take it around your body without letting go of your hands.
I'm unfamiliar with this Finnish stick dance.
Nope, we're gonna have to look it up, but not to be confused with pole dancing, I'm assuming. But if it was, then I'm sure the kids really liked it. So you have to keep going. Yeah, there's where Torben says the stick dance. Drea says, I looked out my window and saw them pointing to where I had been practicing, and then they were bouncing back and forth. Cute. Could be pole dancing. But no, let's call it Tikkuristi, if I'm not saying that wrong. I'm pretty sure I am. Somewhere Nella's crying because she's from Finland. Let's see. Arlene says, wow, that's exactly how the weather is here. We just had a 3-week deep freeze, and tomorrow we've got a rain forecast. Yeah, there's no snow on the ground anymore. It's all gone.
Yesterday was very slippery.
Yeah.
You have a phenomenon that I see sometimes in Gudvangen, and I absolutely hate it. Because you get like a thin coating of water on top of gravel and so on, and then it freezes. But it's like clear. You can't, well, normal people maybe, I can't see it. So I think I'm walking on gravel and that I should be okay. And then, whoop, my legs go out in different directions and my butt hits the ground with spectacular force and exuberance.
Under terrain or black ice?
It's black ice. It's closer to black ice at least. But it's like, it's gravel, so it shouldn't be happening. The water should be running through it, and then it shouldn't be enough water to freeze.
Yeah.
But the ground in, particularly on the walking paths in the Viking village, are hard packed on orthosite. So the water doesn't really drain. It just lies there on top, and then it freezes, and it freezes, so you can't see it, because you have clear ice underwater, and then you see, it looks like a puddle and then gravel. But it's actually a puddle with sheet ice in it, and then gravel.
Yep. Let's see. Albert says, Karen, not that kind of dancing. What? You guys are boring. Drea says the sticks form a cross or X on the ground in front of you, and you repeat the same hopping around and rotating. You repeat the same hopping around and rotating. A game of skill and can be competitive. 3/4 time music that increase in speed. If you step on the stick, you are out. Oh, we gotta learn this game. We could play that in the village. Is it Viking? Can you make it Viking, Karl? I'm sure somewhere in the Saga Egil Skallagrimson was jumping up and down on sticks in Finland. We could do it. Oh. No? It would be fun, though. I think that sounds like fun. I tried. I tried to make it Viking. So, what do you have on the agenda today? Actually, you're drinking beer.
Yes.
I have a comment for you. Jay came through. Jay Van Altengart, he's from Germany. You can look up Die Metmacher, I think is how it's called, on YouTube if you want to see him. It is in German.
Metmacher?
No, it's D-I-E for D, and then Metmacher. I can't do my German. Metmacher. Metmacher. So if you look up D Metmacher or whatever, you can see his beer brewing and things. It's just in German, but sometimes it's just fun watching him play with the beer. But anyway, he says underjaret, which was something that was written on your beer recently. Underjaret, which sounds like it literally means under yeasted, states the fermentation method, not the amount of yeast. The beer is bottom fermented at lower temperatures like a Pilsner or a lager. And you might have heard or read the German word unterjährig somewhere, which means the exact same thing. So we got that corrected. So like 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago maybe, if you're wondering what underjared. Yeah.
We got that cleared out by talking to Peruda.
Yeah, but that was after YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, but then we figured it out.
It was still cleared out.
It was still cleared out, but not in front of everyone else. So for your benefit, underjared states the fermentation method, not the amount of yeast. The beer is bottom fermented at lower temperatures like a Pilsner or a lager. So that was my... Yay, we got that figured. How is your beer, by the way?
It's good.
You've gotten through half of it already?
It's not particularly strong, so...
It's 5%, yeah, but maybe you should start painting. No? Anyway, he finished his beer last week and he didn't get any painting done. Let's see. Max is here. Max says, I'm working on a project to know if I should make a hat or a pair of socks or another pair of socks or mittens, and I'm using Mom and Stitch. On behalf of all of our customers right now that are coming through, what they're really looking for is mittens with fingers. So naturally, I made 3 pairs without fingers.
I mean, that should be easy.
They're quicker though.
Put on your outdoor clothes, go outside, turn your face to the north, and find out where you're freezing the most. Yeah. And then you make that thing.
Although we had an issue, we were supposed to get a ride into work, but due to a sick day or something and a message that wasn't carried out, we ended up walking to work, which is about a 45-minute walk from here. along a highway, and it was bitter cold. But I actually kept my hand in like this while walking, and I wasn't, because I lent my mittens out the day before to someone who needed to use them for Viking. And we weren't planning on walking, so I didn't exactly have mittens on me anyway, but I actually did okay walking with my hands in like that. When we got there, the only thing that was cold was my ass, because the pants were not also thick enough for winter. But so anyway, so I guess it could work. But these are made with $1 and a stitch, which is not the stitch of the month. But the reason I like using $1 and a stitch for wrist warmers, you can use anything, is because it hugs your hand. It has like a little bit of a stretch to it. It's a little extra thick. It's ribbed for her pleasure on the inside. Not for kids. No, it's got like a knitted ridge. It looks like a knit ridge edge, but it's slanted a little differently. So it's got a little bit of a thickness to it, and it looks kind of like basket weave on the outside, but it really hugs your hand. Do these not look like Freddy Krueger? I get Freddy Krueger vibes from these things. I was trying to use up my Vams yarn. So if you've noticed, the wall behind me, no, I haven't probably because we haven't seen it in a while, but the wall behind me has got quite a few holes going into it now. So the yarn is starting to get used, which is kind of the idea with putting the yarn up on that board, because believe me, I have more than enough to fill more yarn up there, to fill the holes with. Way more than enough. But the idea is the yarn that I put up there will be the yarn I need to focus on using first. And so one of them was to try to use up all my Vams yarn. It's by Rauma. I like that one. So these are all colors that Vams had. And now I only have the dark brown left. It's a small ball. This is it. It's a little bit thin for us, but it works great for $1, and it also works great for Mom, and that's what that looks like if it sits still. Yeah. If you're a knitter, it's for knitting needles 5 or 6 millimeter, by the way. And you would get 16 to 14 stitches per 10 inches, 10 centimeters, I think it is. 83 meters or a 50-gram skein, and it's 100% Norwegian wool. Sorry. And then, so anyway, that's all I got left. So now I have just enough for whenever I find something similar. This is it. But I managed to use up the rest of the yellow, the rest of the blue, the rest of this light beige, and it doesn't look like it, but this is actually a little darker beige in here. Or maybe it was, yeah, there's like a slightly lighter color there versus there. See, so I did something, but still, I think Freddy Krueger, I think you could. I'm using my knifey fingers. But Freddy Krueger was green, was he not? Red and green? I thought so. It just
no, it's like that. It's
I thought it was red and like olive green or something. But anyway, it kind of gives me Freddy Krueger vibes. Let's see, what do they think? Nikki's here, by the way, says, does anyone have Dennis the Menace? That's the same color. Ah, it is! I kind of feel like I could do goth in these things. You still haven't fixed that alarm? It goes off every day at the exact same time. Means nothing anymore. Adrian is here. Welcome back, Adrian. We haven't seen you in a while. He says you might come and visit in the near future. See if my horn and lost Trondheim cross have showed up. I don't know if I've seen this, but we do have a little lost and found you can look through. You never know. But yeah, definitely. Did you got a pendant that he was looking for too, by the way? That we found out where that came from, so that was actually quite good. But do you play Warhammer, Adrian? Can you bring it? Karl needs somebody to play with.
Oh, I talked to Greg today, so me, Greg, Torben, and Torbjörn have a date.
Did you tell Torben about this date so he knows when it is?
Didn't we say not this Sunday?
We see you the next 2 Sundays, but what time?
No, so we can agree on the time on the clock when we get a little bit closer. Yeah. We don't really have to. No,
because Torben was hoping you could do it. It might be able to go at 2 o'clock, Torben. We will try. I'm just going to sit there and needlebind and paint or wash, you guys. I don't know. I can't play this game, but it's fun to watch people play. Let's see. Lindsay says, is there a particular way to do gloves versus mitten? Has anyone done gloves? I have done gloves. Karl lost them. Oh, but no, those didn't have completely fulled fingers. But there is one that I posted, I think it's in the Nalbinding International group, and she's got a thumbs up like this while she's wearing this glove with tiny stitches. And I think that should be like the new Nalbinding thumbs up, by the way. But anyway, so what I did is, I think it was after, like, a little inspiration from the dodecahedron, but not quite, that theory that was going around about the knitting thing or whatever. But I kind of like the idea of making these tubes, dodecahedron aside anyway. So I null bound little tubes that fit around each finger, that would only go to about here because null binding does stretch this way. So even though you think you're null binding only this length, you might actually be null binding it a lot longer. So I did that, and then I made, let's see if we do this one, just a band here, just this band here pretty much, and then I whip stitched the loops, the tubes onto the thing, or onto the rest of this, and then I had to kind of like stitch them together in the middle a little bit, but you don't want too many stitches there if you can help it, because it makes it really thick. So then once I got that done, then I picked up and null bound this way, which basically means you're increasing out for the thumb, and then keep going down, and then you make a tube for that as well. Well, I already know how to make a thumb from before, but if I had then picked up the tubes and finished them off, just do a little cinch at the top anyway, then they would have been gloves. These I make bottom up. It's just easier for me. If my start ring is too big, if the start loop or tube that I have at the bottom is too big, it just means that my wrist worm will be a little bit longer, so it's a little bit more forgiving to make them that way. Here's another one. By the way, a little tutorial, if you have wrist warmers or socks actually, or mittens in null binding, never pull them on, try to scrunch them on a bit, because you will stretch out the work otherwise. So that, like that. These ones turned out to be slightly longer because I think my start chain was a little bit bigger, which is weird because I use the same amount of stitches for each one of them and in the same stitch, but apparently I was a little bit more tense when I was doing these when I was doing these. And then when you go to take these off, push them off, don't pull, because it'll just stretch out and make it thinner as well, and you don't want that. But yeah, no, I start these at the bottom, and then when I get to about this part, then I start increasing on one side, usually not my start side. That's my start side. It's hard to tell, but so if I relax this a bit, you can see it kind of comes out on one side. Maybe it shows up better on this one. Yeah, it goes out there. Until I think I have enough anyway where it fits around here, and then when it's just about to cover this spot, that's where I start, where I maybe do 2 stitches across here and skip about 7 or 8, and then just do that part. So that was real quick about that. Roll on the floor, laughing my ass off. I was wondering what my phone was going off about. It was at your car. It was at your phone, Carl. That must have been. Yep, you got Lindsay. Congratulations. And what fiber is wool too expensive? Or is wool too expensive or hot? Did I get all that? Oh, sorry. Right. What weight yarn in Oslo would you recommend for teaching? 4 or 5? That would be the thicknesses. Sorry, U.S. designations. Okay. There's one called Eskimo. I don't know if they make that anymore. There's a new one. I think it was called, Drops has one that's really quite thick. I have to think of what that one's called. It used to be Eskimo. Then they made a new one. Snow. I think it's Drops Snow. That one I would say would be about a right thickness. You could even go a little bit thinner if you want. This is something similar to that. This is Naturgarn, or Igloo yarn was another one by Viking. But that thickness is pretty good for starting with. But if you do something that has, this is 1 ply, which means it's okay unless they're doing long pulls. If they start pulling long, it will split. So you'd have to show them how to do short pulls, and then that would work just fine. Otherwise, where did I put my ball? Something slightly thicker than this VAMS. I would go just a little bit thicker. This could work for Oslo, but it will be a little on the Aries side. And this is more than 1 ply. I don't know if you can see that. It's got 2 plies around each other. But if you do 2 plies on if you do more than a single ply on a beginner, for one, it'll hold a little bit better, but it will, it might confuse them because they might look at the ply as 2 different loops when it's actually just 1. So, but if you walk around with them anyway, but I usually like to start with something like this and just tell them short pulls, because if they do this, it starts to wear out the yarn as you're going through more and more rows. But it does work up quite thick and nice anyway. This isn't Oslo. I usually use the Oslo stitch when teaching them as well. If somebody's having a hard time keeping it on the thumb, if they keep making it too loose or they think it's slipping around, I might show them Momming, but only if I think they can handle it. Do you want to kick him off the table before he knocks your water and everything over?
Fuzzy, down.
The cat is like right between here and the light, and
Fuzzy.
our light is going to go
Down.
flying. No, he's just going to, now he's laid down on the table and he's going to start spreading out. So our light is being supported by 2 paint buckets and another bucket with wood in it and a water bottle. And then you've got water in. Look at this little shit. You can't sleep there.
Fuzzy, here. Fuzzy,
He's just going to
come.
start spreading out now. You ever have one of these? He doesn't listen either, so Karl can say fuzzy all he wants and it won't work. But if he starts spreading out, which he will. Peace, says Adrian. No, he didn't respond to that either. I tried. But anyway, yeah, that would be, yeah, sometimes I will try them on mom and if they can understand the concept of going 2 loops behind their thumb, because when you have more than 1 loop, it sits a little bit better. Some harm in being caught, says Heidi. Her cat's doing that too. Oh, he's annoying. You can't put anything on the table. He's just spread. We can see Karl painting a little bit while I read more chat here. Yeah, Arlene says that alarm sends my dogs running around the house. Do it again. We're gonna like totally mess with pets. Adrian says, I know Orklore. It's very superficial. That could work. But yeah, oh yeah, wool it can be an expensive fiber, but I think it's worth it. My mom is a yarn snob, so she taught me how to become a yarn snob. So in once upon a time, when I was just learning how to do crochet and knitting, I would use the Red Heart yarn because it was the acrylic. It was cheap. You could get like a mass amount of it, and I think I even filled a suitcase and brought it back with me to Norway, because Norway, it's hard to find that kind. You can only find wool, and wool's expensive. He's gonna knock that thing over. Now he's moving around. You might want to lift up and get him. He can't. He's got wet paint on the brush. I can hold your brush for you. Kill the cat. I bet our light goes flying. Now he's gonna go. Now he's gonna grab him. So the cat's gonna do this. There goes the lamp. I knew it. Good luck setting that up again. Let's see. Oh, it's gonna go flying. We need like the holy lamp of Torben to do this, I think. Okay. Well, it did work. He did do it. Okay, anyway, but wool is a bit more stable. The reason I don't like using Red Heart anymore is because my mom's favorite line would be, why would you put all that work, or if you're going to put all that work into something, then maybe use wool, because wool doesn't pill like the acrylic yarn does. There goes the light again. You get to go fix it. Good luck.
It wasn't the cat's fault this time.
Nope, it was the cat's fault the first time, and now we just can't come back from it. Karl and I are professional YouTubers. We have a proposal for you later. Would you believe we've been doing this for 5 years now? In 1 week, or in 1 month, I think, or somewhere around March 12th, we went into lockdown in Norway for COVID in 2020. And I think the first Friday after, it was Virginia and I started doing the YouTube. And then it's been going from there. Would you believe it's been 5 years now? In 1 month, it'll be 5 years. Okay, yeah. Audio, na, stay. The light will stay. Don't touch. Don't breathe, Karl. Don't breathe.
I don't trust it.
I don't trust it either. It's gonna fly.
The bucket solution, I have to say, we are not using the bucket solution again.
No, we need a better solution. I think we just need to buy a better light. I think we need Torben's holy rainbow of lights. I think that might. But do they have it? All right, you entertain. Talk about the shitty factors of acrylic.
No, what now?
Acrylic yarn is cheap and nice to work with, but it doesn't felt.
I have to say I agree with your mother here. I understand the phenomenon.
It's a lot of work to put into it.
Because your work costs more than the raw materials unless you are working with gold.
Yeah.
And even if you are working with gold, you can... if I make a little thingy of a decoration for a knife or a pendant or whatever, out of aluminium, iron or silver, it is going to cost me about the same amount of time. It's just that if I make it out of silver, I will recoup my time, because silver is 8 kroner per gram, aluminium is probably like 30 øre. So it is more likely that the customer will actually buy it if it's made out of silver.
Yeah.
When it comes to the cost of the raw materials, it almost makes no difference, because something like this, it weighs what? How many grams?
Oh crap if I know. I'm not doing math today.
Maybe about 10 grams. So let's say 80 kroner in material costs for the silver. Either that, or I could have 5 kroner in material costs if I made it out of iron.
He's coming back.
But I'll still sell it for like 700 kroner. And I'm much more likely to sell it if I made it out of silver in the first place.
Yep. No, so that's her factor of it, because the acrylic, it'll start getting little pills on it while washed. I mean, the bonus is you can put it in the dryer, but it will get these little pills on top of it, and it'll get all kinds of fuzziness of it. Also for Nalbinding, it's harder to, well, you'd have to do some sort of a unique splice. You either have to do a lazy join or some form of knotting, whether you're doing the weaver's knot or Russian join or the mango join or any of those. You would have to do something like that, whereas with wool you can just spit. And the other thing with this single ply thick wool is it felts really, really easily, so you maybe need a little less aggression when trying to get it to splice. So that's why I would go with wool. But also, now then you're going for a wearing factor of the thing. The wool wicks away moisture from your body, whereas the acrylic does not. It doesn't breathe. Wool will breathe. So in Norway, they have the wonderful saying, "Ull er gul," which means wool is golden. But it is. If you were going to be wearing some long underwear, for example, made out of acrylic, you would just be sitting there and dying in your own sweat. It wouldn't breathe. Whereas the wool, you'll be warm, but it'll wick the wool, or it'll wick the sweat away, or the moisture away from your body. So it's actually much more breathable as well. And some people will say in the hotter states, for example, that you can't use wool because it's too hot, so then they use acrylic. No, wool actually would be cooler in hot weather than acrylic. Obviously, cotton would be cooler than wool, because when you get to cotton and linen, then of course you're going to have to use another splicing technique altogether. So I wouldn't recommend that for needle binding at all, but that's a cooler fabric. However, it does not warm up, whereas wool does. So that's why we like the wool. Anyway, so I would use wool, but wool is much easier to teach with. Lion Brand makes really nice wool. Just make sure it's not superwash. You can needle bind with superwash. You can. I think Woolies might also be a superwash type thing. But you can spit splice it, but it is very, very difficult. You are going to need a lot of rage and a lot of yarn overlap to get that thing to splice together, and very carefully pull the yarn through each stitch until you get past that splice point. So that's my tip anyway. So it's worth a little extra to go with wool, I think. A lot of farmers anyway, with sheep, etc., they will want to try to get rid of the wool, because at least in Norway, the wool is really expensive to process. So, but they have to shear the sheep, so they end up just throwing the wool in the woods. So if you talk to them, learn how to spin, for example, they will probably, many of them will just give it to you. You just have to go and pick it up, and then you'll have to learn how to wash it, but you could spin your own wool as well. A little bit of a tip there. Let's see. Robert says, I got your email, Karin, my bags are packed. Yep. Robert's coming to Gudvangen. He's going to be staying in August. Yay. As a Viking this time, though, so that'll be quite fun. All his bags are packed. He's ready to go. Let's see what else have I missed here? Oh, there's quite a bit of chat today. Yeah, so anyway, Robert's here from Glasgow. Nikki is here from New Zealand. Max is here from Finland, I believe, if I remember correctly. He says, by the way, I'm getting a new phone case, and the color is turquoise, which, as y'all didn't know, it's one of my favorite colors. I agree with you. Turquoise is quite nice. Maggie Griggs says, that's how I made my 5-finger glove years ago. I got the fingers too tight and never finished them. Might have to try again and make a full pair. Yeah, so this one is on my Instagram, actually. I haven't been able to post anything to Instagram because it doesn't agree with the new phone. It just says you don't have access, and even you can try to enable access as much as you like, and it just doesn't do anything. And I haven't been bothered to try to figure it out. But if you go on there, kind of keep scrolling down until you see Karl doing this or something, those are the those are the fingerless gloves that I did. So it's just a matter of finishing off the tubes. But the idea I had with making each tube and then whip stitching them onto a base was because if one tube doesn't fit or something, it's easy to just take one off and then make a new one. But anyway, you can see how I did that on there and then just expand it to fingers, to tips of your fingers. Let's see. I haven't done that in a while. I have to do that, but Karl left that at a hotel. And one person says they found it. Another person couldn't find it, but they said they found it, but they couldn't find it. So I don't know how that works. And then Karl just gave up. We went there 3 times.
Yeah. But there is a limit to how many times you want to bother the same people at the same hotel in bloody
No, but if you really love me and realized how much flippin' work that went in, that's the only pair I ever made. I made it for a tutorial, and I thought, geez, you know, Karl's been really nice to me. I'm not even dating him yet, but I'm going to give him, I'm not even interested in dating him yet, but I'm going to give him some creepy mittens. Then I decided it was so much work, I just had to date you. So I could keep track of them, but no, you lose it at the hotel in Sogndal. Torben says, I bought Necron's Tau Empire core books and a lot of other books and a shitload of paint, so now I'm homeless. Yeah, I hear he's going to be living on the couch. Now we saw these, like, showing us the horde, and there's Karin in the background going, she can buy as much yarn as she wants now.
I think she has the same relationship to this as you do.
Yeah.
Because as long as your boyfriend has an expensive hobby, he can't complain about the bloody yarn room.
Nope. But I'm doing well. I'm getting rid of yarn. I've got quite a few holes on that wall up there now. I'm going to have to refill it soon. Let's see. Oh, and then I also made these without thumbs. That's another reason why I went with $1.09, before I forget. Normally I will put like a little bit, 1 or 2 rows around here, because this part tends to take a lot of wear. But I wanted to make them a little bit faster because we needed wrist warmers. So I thought, if I don't take the time to pick it up, what if I use $1.09? Will it be tighter? And I'm much more pleased with that. But if I had done this with an Oslo, which is a thicker or looser stitch, I would have definitely still gone 2 rows around the thumb just to give it some support. But it worked. So there we go. Warm people in the store soon. Let's see. The cat is the producer that make the magic happen. There was one about acrylic. Where did that go? Arlene says, I use acrylic, silk, and cotton yarns for people who are allergic to wool. That's a really good idea. Are they allergic to alpaca, for example? Alpaca, it has a tendency to get longer over time, which is really weird. My mom made a sweater out of alpaca, thought it was wonderful, and it just gets longer. But it is a lot softer, so that might be an option if they're allergic to wool, but then they might be allergic to alpaca too. Let's see. Ah, yeah, Nikki's also a yarn snob, even started making her own yarn, a new hobby. Comes in handy. I've been spinning mine, but my spinning got pretty good. So I spin these, but I used to ply them if I was going to needle bind on them. This is just a bunch of different colors. But mostly I use these for embroidery now. There's another one, for example, but it's starting to get too good. I found out when I embroider sheep with them, if you've seen the sheep from the sheep, they should be unevenly, if it's unevenly spun, it actually makes better sheep. If the spinning is too good, then I make bookmarks out of them. This is the beginning of a sheep. It's his head. So I just do chain stitches with them, and it just kind of looks like a shadow of a sheep or an outline of a sheep. And then I have one more thing over here. Oh, this doesn't show much. If my spinning is too good, then I make bookmarks out of it. If it's too thin. So that's what these are. Actually, they're a bunch of bookmarks on there. I don't know if you can see how thick they are. But I'll do like that long and then do some tassels. But that's where the spinning was far too even for my embroidery. And this is heddle weaving, by the way, if you don't know. This one is a small one. It only has 11 slots, and if you lift it up, it takes every other string up, and if you push it down, it has the opposite ones going through there. Really quickly through. So, yep, spun wool can work any way you want. You can use it for all kinds of different things. If it doesn't work great for your project, you can always use it for another one. And I have to rotate my projects too because my arms will start hurting if I stick to one for too long. Nikki says I play with a drop spindle while watching YouTube. Oh, I like the drop spindle. There was a video that I posted about a month ago. I have to start spinning some more again. These are my little yarn scraps. Then I'll spin that one too.
When this guy was playing Light Technician,
Yeah.
and you took the pencil, the paintbrush out of my hand and put it somewhere smart.
There you go.
Thank you.
Just remember, this one is for beer. This one is for paintbrushes.
Yeah.
Let's see, we'll move that one back. Okay. Maggie Griggs, new relationship goal. Find someone worth all the work of Nalbinding them gloves. I thought I had, and then look what he did. You deflated my balloon.
We went back to the same hotel 3 times over a period of a month, woman.
Yep.
And then they say, no, we found them. They are in here. No, they're not. They're in the restaurant. No,
When you
not.
called them, they said they had them, but when you go to pick them up, they say they can't find them. But it's because I think it was the lost and found for the restaurant portion was not the same lost and found as for the hotel. And
We
then
went to both.
I don't know.
I even talked to the same waiter.
I don't know. I was waiting in the car, so I'm not really sure I believe you. I think you just ordered a beer and came back. Nope, didn't have 'em.
Because I like cold fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, some places on my body maybe.
Let's see when you get the next pair. PG's here. Drat, I'm late. Evening. No, you're here for the good stuff. You'll be good. Fine. Susan's here, by the way. She says, I'm currently braiding a very tiny 6-strand braid that needs to be a bit over 5 meters long for a skirt trim. I have 1 meter done, and it has taken me like 5 hours so far. Oh, man, I feel your pain. That's a lot of work anyway, but it'll be the payoff will be nice, I think. Prude is here. She said she bought a bottle of wine to celebrate moving into the new flat, and it turns out we don't have a corkscrew. You're just going to have to like take a screwdriver and just push it into the bottle and then sift cork through your teeth for a while after that. And congratulations, by the way, on the new flat. Wop wop, says Nikki. I totally agree. We have a lot of wop wop today. Lindsay says, I would love to get into spinning, but that's way too much time. No, it takes a little while, but I was happy with embroidering the sheet because then if my spinning wasn't good, it would work for that. If it's thin enough to go through the fabric, by the way, then it had really cool results. The uneven works better than evening. Actually, so I'll show you the stitch anyway. While we catch up, and then we got some other stuff to talk to you about today. Let's see. There, turning it down. Let's see. Throw that over there. Make some space. That's so computer's there so I can see the chat. So we're working on this stitch. It's the over, under, under. It doesn't have a name, but it was Spinning Shadows Art is the YouTube person that I'd found it from. She has a video called Beginning Nalbinding with Shadow. And that's all it says. It doesn't say anything about what kind of stitch it is. It just says it's Nalbinding. But she learned it from someone, and someone else learned it from, I don't know. But it does make a really cool stitch. I liked the look of it, so this is why I thought it would be fun to feature it. I can see I still have little mistakes here and there. But I've decided that I'm going to roll with the punches on my mistakes and just do some little swirl embroidery on here. I'm now at the point where I'm decreasing on this hat. I decided to make it bottom up, and I also made it a little bit too long before I started to decrease because this seems to curl. I'm out for 20 minutes, have to put the demons to bed. Oh, you'll be back for the fun part then, Torben. Okay, we have like a new thing that we've thought about. Anyway, so then I'll put some corkscrews on here. If I start at the bottom and work up, it was easier to try to decrease with this stitch than it was to try to increase. You can increase kind of in the same way you would do for Coptic or Tarim or by simple looping, but it's a little bit harder to see your increase. So that's why I made it from bottom up this time. And this is what the wrong side looks like, or the technical wrong side. You can whichever side you want. So to make this stitch, I see I have one started. He might lose gloves, but he loves the cat, so he's a keeper. I have cats, but no one's worth the effort of the gloves. I did get him to change a kitty litter box. I'm pretty good about that.
One?
Well, you didn't do it today. You just put it in there. I had to wash the sucker out. It stunk so bad. Okay, so for this one, you just have the one loop on your thumb. You're not doing any loops behind your thumb. This is the loop that you went in. So this is your old loop, and this is your new loop. So for this one, it's called over, under, under, but you're doing an F1, B1 connection, which means front one, back one. Or the new one is from the front and the old one is from the back. And then you pick it up as like you would with Dollarna, just the thumb loop. There's nothing behind. There's innuendos like mad in this. You are going to go over the working yarn. This is why I have mistakes. I have a tendency to want to do it like finish and go under the working yarn, but you are going over the working yarn. This means your stitches will slant this way. If you did it the other way, your stitches will slant that way. And, that would be a stitch, but you should do the consistently the same way so you don't end up with little screw-ups like I have on this thing. Oh, yeah, and I forgot. You should needle tension on this one because it's very loose. So let's do that again. So one from the front, one from the back. Scoop off the old stitch, tighten it to the needle, and then go over the leader yarn. And that is this stitch. It is called over, under, under because if you look from here, the yarn is going over a strand. There's a strand going underneath here. So it goes over and then it goes under too. That's why it's over, or O, and then slash UU. So it goes over in this direction, but when it turns, which is the slash, then it's UU, under, under. We did that really quickly, but that's why we have all month. So F1, B1, scoop it off your thumb, tighten it to your needle, and go over the leader yarn. So now that I'm at decreasing, I don't know how many times I'm doing it around this, but maybe I'll do 8 decreases this row. The way I wanted to decrease this is I have to obviously take 2 new stitches together at some point, and then still the old one. So I took the new one and one more. You can see there's 2 there from the front, and then I turned and went through one back like I did before and scooped it off. Tighten and then go over the leader yarn and pull through. But now I have this. I have 2 of them together. That's where I had taken 2 together. So this is the one I go into. This is like technically these 2 loops is like one old loop. So I do one new one from the front, and then I take these 2 old ones together from behind. And that's how I would decrease. Okay, Karl, do you want to innuendo the 2 old ones from behind and the one new one from the front?
I don't have the appendages to do that.
You're not old enough. No, then I think I'm decreasing like every 8 stitches or so on here. It doesn't really matter as long as it's somewhat gradual. So that was how I increased anyway, or decreased, sorry. If you were going to increase on this stitch, you would actually do 1 more through that loop, but it is really tricky to see it. On the next row, it's easy to just skip it, so that's why I've decided to do this from the bottom. Okay, Karl, I see you putting your shoes on.
Yes, I'm seeking out for a sneakerette.
Oh God, you're bad.
Have you noticed that I have a small wardrobe malfunction today?
What did you do? Let's see, let's fix this there. What did you do? Don't show me your pants falling down again. I don't want to see that. Yeah, what did you do? Okay, come here. Look at what Karl did. Usually his pants are falling off because he breaks the belt loops, but Karl, on the other hand, has a rather significant bulge going on in his pants there.
No.
He's not suffering from elephantitis of the nuts. What is that?
Crotch is up here.
What did you do? It's like you're wearing
the-
pants in there.
You know the Teletubby pants I'm wearing underneath?
Yeah, sit down so I can see you.
I've started walking down. So every time
Sit here.
my crotch moves closer to the ground.
Sit here. When he says Teletubbies, he means long underwear. But when he's walking around in long underwear, skinny little Karl, don't let him sit down. No, get him, please. Don't let him go through the damn lights again. That's an annoying little bastard. Luckily for me, Karl likes annoying things, like me and the cat. I like the other cat. He's just sitting here. He's sitting here nicely. Look, he's fine. Hi. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on chat. So I think we have one more week without Stitch because no, actually maybe we don't. What time? When is the date today? Today's the 22nd. Yep, next week is March 1st. So next week we will have a new Stitch, and I think we kind of said what that was going to be. Somebody requested one, and we said we would do it. So we will, but just to keep an air of mystery, I'm not going to say it. You'll have to go back and try to figure out what it was. My cat peed, not in the litter box, not happy. 5 days in my world. Maggie Griggs says he might lose gloves, but he loves cats, so he's a keep. Oh, I read that one. Yeah, so he's worth the effort. Yeah, no, I agree with you too. See you, Anne. Next week, she's gonna go. She'll be seeing you next week. Yeah, we're almost at 1 hour. Torben says I'm out for. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Okay, so it turns out we had someone in here yesterday who was asking if, or last week, I mean, who asked why don't we do Twitch. It is actually something that we thought about, and if I could find a way where YouTube and Twitch would play at the same time or record at the same time, so we didn't have to do 2 sendings, then that would be kind of a fun thing to do. Why not? Karl's running out of beer. Could be fun. But then one thing we did notice, though, is that we qualify. After 5 years now, well, actually, probably before that, too, we qualify to do YouTube paid premium, which, because we have enough watched hours and enough airtime and all that stuff. So when Karl comes back, anyway, this is something we were going to air with you guys, because you won't need to have a membership to join the channel, but the membership thing could be kind of fun, actually. It's like a little small amount, I think, that you can pay into, and you can get extra features. And then we decided, okay, if we do that, what are the features? Because we also don't want this to be, we want every Saturday to still be the way it is. So that's just going to be a bonus. But we did sign up for it, and we were approved. YouTube's like, yep, no, we like you. That's fine. Clearly, we don't use as many innuendos as we thought we did. So one thing we thought about doing, one thing they said you could do is that you have, I'm talking about the YouTube thing. Karl.
What?
It's 9:25, so, or 7:25, so I'm talking about the YouTube thing now. Yeah. So, yeah, so this we wanted to run by you guys because we didn't know how to do it, but we want to make sure that Saturdays are always going to be, or if it turns out to be Friday later, but that'll always be the live once a week, and there's no need to pay for anything of that. But, like I said, Karl is running out of beer, so the membership thing did sound kind of fun. And then you can do a couple of tiers or as many as you want. Yeah. But one thing, but then you have to kind of make it like worth it. This is where we might be able to take advantage of Karl. But I didn't get that far yet. Hang on. So one thing you would get is you get these little membership badges. So if you've been a member for a month or 2 months or whatever, you get a different color badge. And they have like these ones that you could choose, which was a star with different colors, but I thought balls of yarn. So I was poking these in, and you will get like you could get like a ball of yarn with a different color next to your name, and that signifies how long you've been a member. But if you make it to 60, which was the max, 60 months, that would be another 5 years. So I hope to God we keep this shit up. But then that would not be a ball of yarn. I didn't have any more ball of yarn colors, so that's Karl pouring you a pink beer, a little Karl. And then you could also have emojis. So that would be the other thing that would a first level would unlock. Yeah. And we could do 4 emojis, and as we got more members, we could do more emojis. But then we had to design our own emojis. So I found we could do, Karl makes a great emoji, doesn't he? So we have one with Karl holding up beer. So that would be the beer emoji. And then there would be Karl holding up money. So that would be the Karl money emoji. Then we have angry Karl. And then we have sleazy Karl. And I have to keep making more of these, but that would be something, and that's only the ones that would have the member would be able to do that. The other thing the member does is put your name in a different color, so it's easier to find you on chat.
Yeah, but that's just kind of a fun little thing.
That's the fun little things, but we need better stuff.
What we need to come up with is something that makes it worth it.
Yep, for you guys.
I've been talking for 2 years about starting my own YouTube channel.
Yeah, you haven't done it yet.
But it makes more sense to just make content for this YouTube channel. So just
then they don't have to find you, and you don't have to try to maintain 2 channels.
We do the live chat on Saturdays as always.
Yep.
And then we add something else on maybe Mondays.
Yep. Maybe something like that. But then you were also, would it be live?
No.
You want to do? No, you're gonna have pre-recorded.
I might do some lives, but mostly it will be pre-recorded things. And since I'm not locked down to needle-binding at all.
No, he doesn't even have to stay Viking. He can go Roman. He can go Warhammer.
I don't even know how to do needle-binding.
No,
so
I'm gonna teach you.
It boils down to I can make a short, well, not short, maybe 15-20 minutes pre-recorded thingy that we upload every Monday.
Yeah, and called a new playlist. I was just throwing a name out. We could call it Karl's Ramblings. We could call it whatever you want. You guys could come up with a name if you want.
Yeah.
But that would not be, what is that? Just like, there's an option to just make it available to members only at first, and then it goes live. It goes out.
I think that
So
at least in the beginning we just put it out directly.
No, we have to, because we're horrible at putting extra videos out. But this means if we do this, we have to actually put in a bit more work to it. So we would have to start out with what, like 10?
Yeah. I should have a backlog, so I have the opportunity to as soon as I have like 5 or 6 ready to go, then I'll upload the first one, and then I'll make sure to upload one every Monday from now until. Yeah,
basically we would have to have we'd put a couple out there anyway. But if we ever did like the pre-release one, we'd have to have a lot in.
No, we are just doing basically stream of consciousness. We haven't been looking into this for more than a week.
We just realized we qualified. It was somebody that came on the very end of
last Sunday, I believe.
YouTube.
We started looking at it.
Yeah.
It was after YouTube.
It was after YouTube.
And after YouTube last time we were pretty drunk, so I don't think it was that day. But
the candy vodka thing turned out really good, by the way. More story time and telling with Greg. Now, see, that's the thing, is we want to get Greg to do it. But Greg is on, I can't control Greg's schedule. So he's got to go over here or there. He's got a lot further drive to go home. We have to drive 5 minutes. He has to drive 40.
More likely to be available in the summer. But,
yep. But I think every time we try to schedule him, it doesn't work out. Something backfires. So I think that's better to keep Greg as a surprise. But we will definitely, he likes telling stories and everything. It's just that his schedule is so inconsistent, we can't keep up with it. But we can control the stories that Karl tells. What is candy vodka? Yeah, okay. So there was this place we stopped at. Birchelu is the name of it. It's between here and Celia on the way to Karl's father's house. And it's got this little landhandel, which is basically a little country store where they have a lot of really unique items. Some handcraft, some hand food, like jams and things. This one had a bottle with one of those little corkable caps on it. It looked like a clear wine bottle with a corkable cap, and it had like this snake of hard candy in it. And it's called a mojito shot. You're just supposed to add vodka and let it sit for 24 hours, although we let that sucker sit for 4 days.
It's been sitting for like a week now, and it's still not the same.
No, we're adding more vodka to that thing, but oh my God, scary goodness. Yeah. So, we should probably do that again. No, anyway,
what we kind of
that's what the candy vodka was.
Input on is memberships. We can make them tiered so that you have like a cheap.
Yeah, so there's
cheap to super expensive memberships, but we are not.
I don't think we need to go super expensive, though.
I have never paid for a YouTube membership with
neither have I, so I have no idea
anything. So I have no idea what.
I'm not even paying for a YouTube subscription.
We have no idea what should be in those tiers. But if you have any ideas, what would actually be worth money?
They had, so YouTube has suggestions. So one of them would be, the first one is like really low. You get like these loyalty badges, which basically shows how long it sits next to your name, and it shows how long you've been a member. And I think it changes the name of your color in chat. Like you can see Baruda is a moderator, so Baruda has her own color, but your name would also be colored, and that actually means it's a little bit easier. Your messages then stand out a bit more in chat.
All of this is...
And it has the emojis, but only 4 at first. But there are some other, so you can control whatever you have in each tier. But other suggestions for YouTube, one was members only live chats. I don't know if I want to do that. I think we already do a live chat.
We could maybe do a members only live stream.
Yeah.
But a members only live chat seems pointless, and it's also confusing for people because then you have 2 chats going at the same time.
Yeah, but we will always have the one live every week that's not a member.
all of these are things you can do anyway.
Yeah.
The badges and
Yeah, no, the badges and the emojis come with it anyway. There was other one. There was priority reply to comments. That might come in handy if we start having a chat that goes out of focus. But sometimes the chat gets a little too long recently, or too big recently. But I love it. But it does make it harder to see all the comments.
For us, I don't really think that is going to make a difference.
No, I watch it back within the week anyway. But
we have so relatively few viewers, and even though the chat occasionally moves quickly, it's not like we can't keep track of it.
No, we can't so far.
Particularly when you have a good moderator like Peru does.
Yeah, Peru is really good. She'll send them to me in Messenger so we see them. Other perks were early access to new videos. That was kind of a cool idea if we have a good bank of videos ready to go. I mean, because we're pretty bad at putting them out. So we'd have to have like 10 ready to go, and then we could put out a little at a time.
We haven't started yet.
But those would be your videos, I think.
And if it is just me, if that is something that would be interesting, I'll do it anyways. I'll find out if people find it interesting or not. But just with low production value, me just ranting about something to do with history for 15 to 20 minutes. Or
Warhammer or whatever.
I think I'll stick to history, because if we go out too broad, there is not a single person in the universe that is interested in everything we are doing.
Karin can make us all mittens as a perk. Oh yeah, that's gonna cost you. That's gonna be the super expensive. No, but actually, here's one. Maggie says, no, wait, where's it? Yeah, Maggie says, I pay for two memberships on YouTube. They do emojis, and she loves that. So okay, that would be like the low one. The low one would just be something that was kind of nominal, basically. Keeps a beer in Karl's hand every Saturday. Because we're running out of that. Let's see. One was quiet because of lack of time, productive, so we kept supporting, but now he's finding direction slowly and beginning to post. That was the other thing, too, is people can opt out of the member thing, but there's more perks for us from YouTube if we have more members, because the more memberships you have, the more emojis you can allow. So you can only do 4 emojis at first, and then after you get like a certain amount of memberships, then you can now do suddenly 8 emojis or whatever. So there's a reason. It's actually an incentive for you and I to keep at it, because anybody can opt out of a membership, and then it kind of goes back.
To say,
Karl's rants would be great for TikTok. Now I agree too, but
without sounding too mercenary, I think I'm more interested in the money than the emojis.
No, it was, but that's the other thing too, is what would the money go for? The money would basically go for beer and strange Norwegian food.
This is going to be very small potatoes.
It's not, no. We're thinking it might pay for a cup of coffee.
One thing we could do, at least in the beginning, is, well, you've seen our light issue today.
Ooh, plum wine. Yeah.
That could maybe be the first thing we actually fix.
The what one?
The light issue.
Oh, the light issue. Yeah, no, that's kind of because the bar, it's on a metal thing. It just keeps doing this.
This money is YouTube money. So using it to improve YouTube first.
Yeah.
And if there is anything left,
then you can get a beer.
Well, the beer is kind of part of YouTube. But
the beer is part of YouTube.
I drink beers every Saturday anyway.
Yeah. But your beer bill's getting kind of big, actually.
We also have people like Audra who just keep sending me beer.
That's because you're nice. You have to continue to be nice to Audra, but eventually she's going to want something back from you. So you can do it by an emoji. There's something called a sticker. I saw this on somebody else's, and I don't know if this is a Twitch or a YouTube, but I love the idea of a really angry Karl. Someone pushes a button and angry Karl goes rah over the screen.
Yeah, Audra has my contact information, so whenever she wants to call in her favor, she can do that.
You can have Karl for a night. I won't.
Woman!
I like Audra. She brings you beers each and that one.
I like Torben, but that doesn't mean I can borrow you.
Oh man, I'm trying how to be a hoe. Let's see. Maggie says the other does things like following the farmers while they work, maybe record tours, outings, stories, things that aren't practical live. Yeah, that was another thing. She says also you could even edit old lives to make bloopers or shorts about the Stitch of the Month.
Yeah.
That we actually thought about, the little blooper thing.
Because the way we are doing it right now with only live chats, you see all of our bloopers. When we do something stupid, you see it directly. But as soon as we start recording things...
once. I was recording something and all of a sudden a fart comes out and I'm like, no. That could be funny.
Maybe we should put the microphone behind you.
If you listen really carefully on the fiber one where you're turning the fiber to wool, the one I have that's about, you know, making your own yarn basically from old scrap scraps. If you listen really, really carefully, you can hear my stomach going, no, no, no. I thought about it and I'm like, I'm not gonna edit it out. But this anyway, so then other thing is what kind of videos. Then I have to actually put out, I did make a little video today of how to do this stitch. And I thought that could be like a little short video, but that could be, I mean, that's something that should be out anyway, but it could also be like a preview. So it can, you know, like a pre-release, whenever you get pre-access to it, basically you get to see it before everyone else does, but, or yours could, but there's little videos we could do. We have also, like when we went to United States, I still have to make a video about that. Basically it would be mostly slideshow because it's just all the pictures and things that we did when we were in the United States and how Karl reacts to seeing a strip mall that has a gaming store, tobacco store, and an alcohol store and a snack store in one go, and he was in seventh heaven. So he was like, all I need right here, I could do COVID all over again. But we have pictures and stuff like that. But the thing is, I haven't been consistently good about making videos and putting them out. I got the fiber one out, but I need to do more. Yeah. So I would like to, before we even do the membership thing, I would have to have a stack of videos ready to go. 2021. Yeah.
As a mission from work, we made a short edited video for
yes, we did.
Kindergartens.
Yeah, the school project ones.
We made a school project, basically for kids, a documentary about Viking life. And it wasn't that long. It was, half an hour maybe?
Yeah.
But with all the editing, and we don't know what we're doing. We basically
no, we were learning. Yeah, and that was on a Huawei too, by the way.
We basically learned it doing this project, but it was such an enormous amount of work.
Yeah, but there's little blips in there too. There's the one, well, actually there was one, we were doing this one for Hago, though. We were trying to record a little introduction to the channel, or maybe it wasn't. It was like, hi, my name is Karin, and this is Karl. What are we going to do today, Karl? And Karl is so sick and tired of redoing this 4 or 5 times just to get one good one, that he says something really stupid. He says, today we're going to talk about prostitution in the Viking Age. And he threw me off guard, and so then I licked him, and he wasn't expecting that either. And it turned out to be a really good little, that one we could put up as a blooper. It's on Facebook, but you have to scroll forever to find it. But that was one. Maggie says also, I like these ideas, by the way, so please keep them coming. Maggie said the other thing, like, oh no, that was the other one. You could even do edit old lives. No, that wasn't it. Reusing, yes. Reusing what you have gives you a start until you find your direction. Oh, and I have a third. Crochet crowd. Mikey will do advanced release or just what you do while chatting with a smaller audience. With his smaller audience, his focus on teaching in patterns so we get early access. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. I have to get my patterns off of Instagram. They'll stay on Instagram. But I have to get them off of Instagram and put them in YouTube or something. So it would be basically taking the same images, but putting it into a slideshow, and maybe I do a voiceover in the background. I have to figure out how to do voiceovers on the Mac. We did figure it out on the Huawei, but that would take something that I already have as a pattern and turn it into a... But it was on the Huawei.
I know from previous experience with this type of people that they generally are Mac people.
Yep.
People who do any kind of video editing are usually people who uses Mac products instead of...
yeah, or we might have to buy some software I don't have software extra, but we could do that too. But basically that's something I can do too, because I have the patterns up there. All the pictures are done, but I would have to put it together as a slideshow and voiceover, and then that could be a video.
What we anyway are not going to do is to in any way reduce the quality of the content.
God, no, we're still going to do one week live.
This is basically a matter of what kind of bells
Karl's
and whistles.
Cozy Corner. Oh, that's cute.
What kind of bells and whistles would you be interested to pay for?
Did you just see Karl? And then there was a dodecahedron, and somebody thought it might be for knitting, but I think, see, no, that could be good. And then you have to stroke your beard every once in a while. One thing is definitely for sure, it is more work to put into it. So, but that is all the incentive to do it too.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of work in the beginning, but as soon as we learn it properly.
I created a Twitch account. It's just Karin_BM because KBM was taken for some reason. I thought maybe I'd forgotten a password, but no, it's not mine. I don't know who KBM is. I can't see it, but it's Not me.
It's
So
the
I made.
other one, obviously.
No, it's not. No, there's like, I think BYOM is part of another word in a different language, but my Instagram is Karin with an I underline Bium. So I just took that one. So I took the name, but I haven't gotten further than that on Twitch yet. But if I can get YouTube and Twitch so it sends the same live over both, that would be so much easier than trying to do 2 at a time. That I couldn't. So anyway, there was some other. Now we're over time, but this is what we wanted to use the end of the chat for. Photos and status updates. Can you do that? You can do you can post a photo to YouTube. I thought it was only videos.
Yeah, you can.
But apparently you can. So you can do photo and status updates. So that might be something. That was also a perk that could be. Member shoutouts. Well, hell, we do that anyway. So I don't think that needs to be a perk. Members only videos and members only live stream. I still like I think I prefer early release to members only. Because I think early release means somebody else can still see it later, which is good.
Yeah, but
that was another suggestion by YouTube, but there was also a perk unique to your audience. Also, then I saw Arna and Carlos. I went to look at that. Arna and Carlos, if you don't know who they are, Arna is Arne, and then Carlos is spelled with a C. But they're this wonderful couple. One is half South American something and half Swedish. And the other one is Norwegian, and they live in Norway in Valdres, which is actually not too far from here. And they do this knitting channel, and they are absolutely wonderful. So everything knitting and a bit of other crafting as well. And then I was looking at their tiers. What do they have to offer? Well, you've got this tier where you get to have your badge, you get to have your shout out, your emojis. Then you have this one, which has early access. And then you have one that costs 1,500 kroner a month. That's like $150. I'm like, what in the hell would you pay? Apparently, though, that one they also do cruises where you can go and knit with them on a cruise, maybe see the Aurora Borealis or something. But that actually gave them a really discounted price or first in line booking for those cruises. Like you could book that cruise a month before everybody else could or something. I'm like, okay, because I thought, damn, that's insane. Yeah. What in the hell would you pay? Okay, I suppose but if it really if you really want to cozy up with Arna and Carlos.
It's not really transferable to us.
No, it's not. No, we don't have anything like that. So that's what we have to figure out is what do we actually have to offer that we still, like I said, we still want to do the once a week for everybody.
Ideally, now coming up soon, there will be 2 uploads a week. Well, there will be one live chat and then an upload. Yeah. Maybe we can do more than that, but as it stands, we are working.
Yep.
And
this would be more work, but it could be worth it. You could have beer.
It could.
We'd have a lamp.
And let's call the lamp the first.
And a kitty kennel.
The first target is to finance some kind of Torben prostitute lights.
You'll have them custom made. Like the rainbow of lights.
Because we have good microphones. Well, do strictly speaking, belong to work, but...
Megan says, silly, but you could put a camera on the cat day in a life. Oh my God, we could, but then we'd have to clean. Right now, we're in a house that's so cold that we are living in one part of it only, one room, which is kitchen and living room combined. So we're tiny house living in a really big house. And that means everything is everywhere.
If you put the camera on Fussy, I can tell you exactly what you're going to see.
Karl's crotch.
Because Fussy has... he has a routine, so to speak. He sleeps when I'm at work, so that he can be 100% energetic at all times when I'm home. He will actively try every trick in the book to come between me and the screen of my cell phone.
GoPro on the sheep.
Putting his tail over my eyes and putting his entire body on top of the cell phone.
Yeah.
Every time I go to bed, I spend half an hour wrestling with him until I need 2 things from him. I need him to not be in my face, and I need his ass not to be in her face. Mm. So I want him on this side. He wants to be on this side.
Yeah.
And we kind of fight about that until one of us falls asleep. That's a day in the life of Fuzzy.
I was supposed to review books today. I was supposed to be doing that. We're over an hour. I can do them next week for the ones that missed as well, but we can do it go through in a few minutes for those who want to stick around for hour 2. As Nikki says, it's about time to maybe just admit that this is no longer a 1 hour episode. I will be in the summer. I may hate to say it, but I'll still go through them. But we can go through them next week too for the ones that had to leave early, because we're only supposed to be 1 hour. But this one's kind of important, yeah. So I don't really like making things. I mean, my own YouTube is I don't pay for a subscription on YouTube either. I sit there and watch the ads and everything. But this seemed like it wouldn't be a bad idea, because it is a bit of work. But to do this, we have to do some extra work. We actually have to get a log of videos ready to go so that we have something to release on a regular basis, because it takes time. That's the reason why I don't have more videos.
The editing thing is a skill I wouldn't really mind having. But
I will teach your ass.
As long as we don't put the benchmark on documentary level.
No, I think they're going to be like 15-minute, maybe 15-minute videos. Is that what you feel comfortable with?
I can probably, if I just put up a camera and I have a thing I want to talk about that has to do with history, I can probably just do it in one take off the cuff.
No, that you could do. Yeah. But how long? I was thinking 15 minutes, so that it's not like. But you have a tendency to go way over. Well, we both do.
But that's not the end of the world in this context.
No, in this context was great.
The thing is, if I want to talk about something, I can narrow it down so that I'm talking about just one aspect of the thing I want to talk about.
Would you do storytelling too? It doesn't have to be purely Viking.
History is storytelling.
There you go.
When I talk about history, it's always kind of narrative.
Because we do need a little storytelling. Phil, we've been lacking in that department for a bit. You could also do your Warhammer. We could do a speed video of you painting, although.
No, but as I said, we don't want to go too broad. So
that's the idea. Is you can do whatever you want on your playlist.
I get it, but I don't want to go too broad.
Yeah, no. That's up to you. That would be your thing.
Because
but what I was gonna say was I can't remember. But that was it. We need topics for Karl too. So throw a topic. History from Karl. I like that one. But throw some topics in for Karl to babble on about, or that you want his opinion about. He likes researching stuff too, which is always kind of fun. I can't remember what I read yesterday, but you can.
I can't remember what you read yesterday.
No. It's 84 Charing Cross Road. It's in the bathroom. How could you not? It's a good book, by the way. I've read it 5 times. You like me, says Torben. Oh, yeah, no, by the way, I saw Torben also asked a question in there. I'm confused. Is it pronounced schedule or schedule? Torben, it depends where you come from. If you're from Greg's part of the world, you would say schedule. If you come from United States, you say schedule. I have no idea what they say in New Zealand. Nikki can answer that one, but she writes both, it's both. But now, do you say shul and school, or do you just say school? Because we don't have this sh sound. We treat SCH as always sk in American English. It is always. So I'm going to be totally caught on a lie on that one, but I'm pretty sure it is. SCH in American English is always sk.
This is why you shouldn't speak in absolutes, woman.
Nikki says school. No, I'm absolutely right on this. I'm never wrong. I'm always wrong. I'm an expert. She says it's pronounced school. So in New Zealand, they say school then. Let's see what else do we have here. Food tasting. Yeah, we do have to do more food tasting. See you, Suze, by the way. Food tasting is a good one. That's actually another example of why we should actually do the membership things. Because one, your beer tab is getting to be pretty expensive because we're having a hard time finding beer you haven't drank that we're starting to import now. And the other one is the food tasting when we do strange Norwegian food. Last year, this year was just the rockfisk, but that was like 300 kroner, but which isn't too bad. But sometimes when we did food tasting, you have to like buy big portions of it to get it, and then that can go into a couple thousand kroner. So that's actually, but that's like but food tasting would be good. I could make you eat American shit.
The food they want us to taste is never good. And if we actually turn out to make a success out of this, so we're actually making some money out of YouTube, they will have us specially fly in rotten shark fins from Iceland just to annoy us.
Well, it's not, no surströmming. None of that stuff from Sweden. No. But I did. I ate the rockfish with your mustard on it, and oh my god, that was disgusting. And you ate an eyeball from the sheep's head. That was 2 years ago?
Yeah, but I don't see the problem. The sheep wasn't using it anymore.
Anyway, so the food thing sounded like an interesting idea, though. Where was it written in there? Albert says Adobe is so expensive at the moment, and they have AI stuff that can take your designs to learn. Yeah, I don't think I need to go quite into Adobe. I just, I know that we have the thing is the Huawei computer that we have at work is Microsoft, and I use a Mac, so they don't always cross. But it is, I know we can do certain things on the Huawei, and we can do certain things on the Mac, and I can probably do more on the Mac with Apple software. I just have to find it, learn it, buy it, and then we'd be good. One thing I do have to do is buy more space on my computer. Let's see what else was there. Yeah, no, but this isn't going to be something we'd put a high price on anyway. $150. Could you imagine? That is flipping insane. I think most of them are like 99 kroner or less, like 29 kroner, 99 kroner. So it's like, what, $3, $10?
Yeah, and
max.
The low end should be around 29 kroner. Maybe.
That would be like $3. Two something.
But I don't. This is also. I'm more interested in. What the hell?
30 minutes for kindergartens. That's way long. Oh yeah. We had to cut in on that one.
I don't think they were kindergartens. I think they were like 4th graders or something.
Yeah, I think it was 4th graders. Yeah, that one. Your stomach heard fiber and said, yes, please. That was on that fiber video that I was watching. It just went, you know, that little... If a spiral could make a sound, that's what my stomach sounded like. You could just hear it in the background. Let's see. His focus is on teaching in patterns to get early access. I do like that idea. But I don't think I would make any access members only. I think I like the idea of just early access and then, because we don't want to be too posh. That's a lot of work. Let's see. His subscription levels get first access to things, and he gets more, and he can get more innuendo and really risque too. Funny. Oh, maybe we do need a few members only videos. Finish pole game, stick game.
I don't really know how I can go any further in that direction without having to move over to Pornhub.
No. Then we'd have to constantly have like this little Raymond button that we push that says "Not for kids." Silly, but you can put it. Oh yeah, we did that one. The camera on the cat. GoPro on the sheep. Consider subscription area a place to play and try things. If they work great, if not, try something else. Yeah. Oh yeah, there was the food thing. History from Karl. Everybody likes history from Karl. Albert says, you like me, and I'm not sure. I mean, not Albert, Torben says that, and I'm not exactly sure why. Albert says, I wish I had my editing program and drawing program so that I could help. Oh, that would be nice. And use my degree, but the Mac is brick at the moment. Yeah, I've got a couple of bricks in the cupboard over there. Windows. Food or beer is always a winner. Tutorials of everything. Yeah, no, there's quite a bit I could do tutorials on. When I do, yeah, that's true. I could show the weaving and I could show how I do my sheep. We could go off needle binding too, not just needle binding.
How you do your sheep?
How I do my sheep.
Are you Welsh?
Nope. Fiber. I can show you my painting. How I do these, basically. By the way, I don't know how well you can see it, but one of those, this is your trivia for the day, not the one in the middle, but one of those dragons is a boy and one of the dragons is a girl. See if you can see the difference. You'll have to freeze frame and go back to it. I made those for my kids when they were born. That other one is my kid. I tried to do, that was the first time I painted. And there's her twin up there. But anyway, there's some techniques there I can show how I do that. It doesn't mean it's a over great technique. It's just what I do. But I've gotten better at the dragons now. So anyway, that's a little fun thing for you later. Let's see. Viking Age Foods. I'm doing a food challenge today. Theme revenge is best served cold, making 14th century pickled eggs, says Nikki. Oh, that'd be funny watching me try to eat a pickled egg. No, but
why would that be difficult?
I don't think I want to eat anything pickled. I don't like pickles. I like cucumber though. Innuendo. Torben says, chicken run, a camera on each chicken and people place their bets. That's another one with the sword. You and the weapons thing could be kind of fun too. See who wins, Trim or Karl. Can Karl beat a 12-year-old?
I don't think you want me to be too competitive when I'm
No,
playing with
no. Robert says, Karl doing reaction videos would be awesome. Oh, God, we've talked about that. We have not done stupid Viking movies in a long time. Oh, you should try. Karl and I, we're watching The Circle. That stupid-ass reality program, The Circle. We're watching. We just binge watched all 7 seasons of it. I can't believe it. I mean, this is the kind of crap that I put on when I'm doing my crafting or whatever, so I'm not too focused on the program. I can actually get some crafting done, but I need noise. Karl's sitting here minding his own business, and he's like, now what in the hell are they voting for this? How could they possibly think so? The woman is so stupid. And I'm like, Karl got sucked in to The Circle. But now you know why. The only reason I like that show is it's like a sociology experiment, but it's so stupid. And his reactions to that thing is flippin' hilarious. He does this.
Everything about that thing pisses me off so much.
There we go. And then he does this, and then I have to like stop because I can't understand what the hell just happened because Karl went off on a 10-minute rant. But that could be a thing, but not necessarily The Circle. No, but I mean, your reaction videos would be funny.
It would have to be like historical movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's fun.
But it's...
Then you have to really make sure we understand the copyright laws of that one, too, by the way.
Oh, no, but...
That might require some software,
It's not a matter of us understanding them, because that's pretty simple. As long as you're not showing the entire movie, criticizing it is completely fine.
But there's a software thing, too.
Category of fair use.
Yeah, there's a software bit to that, too, where they say you and where they see the little bit of the show at the same time, what you're reacting to. I don't know how to do that. Yeah, maybe. Okay.
It's pretty easy.
So anyway, before we go down the big circle rabbit hole,
but
the reaction's not a bad idea. That's a really good idea. I like that one.
Yeah, that you have to buy me for.
That one could be fun.
Because
especially if you've ever seen Karl react to the Vikings TV series. When they made a hot air balloon out of fur.
No, I saw that, but I
mean, Karl overreacts if they're using stirrups in the film, but can you imagine how he reacted to it?
In the Viking age, they can use stirrups.
No, was it the Romans?
But if you see a Roman using a stirrup, he's doing something wrong.
Book reviews and recommendations, that would be a good one for you. Yeah. You're more well-read and do those than I do. I still got to do the needle-binding ones, speaking of. Nate Petrovsky's ducks have a huge following on Twitch. Oh, really? Okay. That must be where they're just viewing ducks all day. I don't know what people watch. Members only, someone wears the Vikini. That would be fun. Barbara and Alexander Mink. Barbara Ringstead, Alexander Mink. If you can find them on Instagram. I think Viking Valley, now that we've got regained access to Viking Valley's Instagram, I think you might be able to see it tie in. But I'm not sure what their YouTube or what their Instagram names are, but Barbara Ringstead and Alexander Mink did some really, really cute videos last week in the village where they took these little hats and they were kind of like doing the Vikini thing, and they're funny. I'll share them if I can find them. Or you could find, says Nikki, you could feature friends of Karin and Karl, like I do with the meetup, but we talk about the weaving with flax sleeves. We do kind of do that in the summer, though. We do that. We had like Anders, the Anders with the tattoo, not the blacksmith, but the Anders with the tattoos was cooking for us one day. Whoever's in the village, they tend to pop up on there.
Yeah, but we are not talking about extras, not things.
Yeah, no, that's true. Then we have to have friends. We don't have any friends. We're just stuck here in the middle of nowhere. No, we do.
Rune drove me home today,
and
he was going, okay, since he left 1 hour early because he had to pick up a package.
Yeah.
And he said, at least you'll be home in good time for YouTube.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, no, we started 1.5 hour later, so it's not really a problem. And he said, I wish I had time to join because...
Yeah, that was good that he wants to join, yeah.
But he is he's the father of a kid about this size.
That's probably not even that. No, he's a newly baked father, as they say in Norwegian.
So he has no time.
Yeah.
This might even out sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But,
the last time we saw Rune, I think on YouTube, there was a bun in the oven, and it wasn't his oven, by the way. It was his wife's oven.
Well, yes.
But yeah, I think that was the last time they were on. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good idea. let's see. Oh, apparently Albert knows about these ducks. He says he's watched them on YouTube and it's great. Robert says, I'm with Karl on that one. Book reviews and recommendations. Don't start me on the Viking series is what he's agreeing with. And Nikki says, no, it could be, so it could be fiber arts. Yeah, I like that one. Runa from the UK. No, Runa is, there's Runa and Runa, and Karl would be the better one to pronounce those because they're Norwegian names.
Runa.
Which one's the boy?
Runa.
And the girl?
Runa.
There you go. So Runa is got an E on the end of it. It's like rune. And Runa has an A on the end. But with my dialect, I tend to call them both Runa, and that's rather insulting to poor Runa. So...
Runa
is Runa Liseth. He's one of our guides, and his sister's in the chat.
He has a kind of annoying joke because there is a cardboard box in the office area. It's probably you who put it there.
Oh yeah, I
that
did.
That just says runes.
Because there were the box the runes came in.
But if you read that in Norwegian, it's runas.
Yeah, so
meaning
he thinks
belonging to Runa.
So he thinks everything that box is his, and he wants to take it.
Don't leave anything valuable in that box, by the way.
My Nalbinding mama, says Nikki, is Runa. She helped me get started. She's a friend of mine. I know there's a Runa in Norway that also does needle binding, but she pops in and out of social media. Okay, I gotta review some books, so keep putting some chat ideas in. Keep putting ideas in the chat. I have to read this back after too, because I think we're kind of stupid not to do it. But like I said, we'll still do once a week. We'll still have the live. That's not a member. The member thing should be kind of a fun thing, but if we do pre-release shorts or videos or whatever, we'll have to have them ready to go before we do open up a member option. Because just if I'm slow putting together videos, then I should at least have a stash of them ready to go, so you're not sitting there waiting a whole month for one release and nothing comes out. That would be kind of stupid.
No, but if it is just a matter of me talking for more than 10 minutes about a subject in history.
I like that idea. People want to hear more of just Karl.
Almost any subject in history.
Yeah.
I can do that. And if I'm not rehearsing and not studying, I might be wrong on the details, but I'm right on the big picture.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think I would publish anything if I thought I was wrong about something, so I would probably study a little bit.
I think the key, too, is also we get one shot. One shot would be good, less editing. But because it's the editing that's work.
I think I can do that.
Okay.
But at least I can do it so it's minimal editing. So you might have to remove a few... please, mate. Well, Karl is loading. But that's easy. That's pretty easy editing. If we want to do it a little bit more professional to avoid the jump cuts that are so popular on YouTube, we could cut to something else when I have a slip up.
Yeah. Would you do 2 or 3 tiers? One would be just the emojis and the badges.
We have to have something to put into these tiers.
That's what I mean. If we made tiers, then but how many? Because from what I understand is you can, once you create a tier, this is what we've been reading through all this shit. There's so much to go through, but once you create a tier, that tier is like in stone. You cannot change it. You can delete it and create another tier, but when you do that, everybody who's in that member gets reimbursed for that month or whatever. That they're kind of they have to like rejoin.
Not members anymore.
Yeah, they have to rejoin. So it's worth it to get it right from behind.
Because you can't have a contract that you can change unilaterally in your end, and it's not changed for the other people.
And Nikki says start with 1. I did like that idea, but then I also have to find out too. Can we add, or do we have to like wipe and start again?
I think you can, but
double check it. Yeah, we have to look that up. So
because it's a fun idea to have like a super expensive tier, but what the hell are we putting in it?
Yeah. But then again, there's other things too. So now I've got like the books to go through. We've reviewed books before on here several times. Maybe about an average once a year I've reviewed books for the needle binding. But it would be nice to have one that was up. That's actually titled the needle binding books review or something like that. That's always up. Then I better have something nice to say.
Needle binding books to actually do that?
Oh yeah, crap tons. There's a new one that came out. Okay, there's at least 2 that I found out about. I have to put this on, let's see. There we go. So we can see my screen. It's a little delayed. Here I have some pictures up. So if you're in the regular needle binding group, there is a section called books. It's up here. books and booklets about Nalbinding, and there's a whole section of it. You can see she's got like 45 pages going here. I think Paul had just noticed it or added to it in this is 2016 is when it was created. Okay, but this was one that everybody's talking about. Sarah Casey's posted it, James has posted it, a couple other people's posted it as well. I think Sue Harrington did. This one looks really interesting. I did not know this thing existed, and I kind of want a copy of it now. So we'll see if we can get a hold of it. But this one is basically Neulakentat in a book, from what I understand. It's just a list of all these stitches. And a little short description of each one. So it's not meant to be a how-to needle bind, but it's supposed to be like an offline version of it. I think that was pretty flippin' brilliant. And if I remember correctly from reading really, really quickly through the, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here so I don't shake so much. If we, actually, maybe I can try to put this down. I have books in the way. Let's see, hang on a minute. There. Oh, it goes that way. There we go. We don't want to see the sofa bed behind there. That's not very well made. Okay, so there we can see a little bit better, and then I can zoom in. So there was that one, which I think was kind of a good idea. So that one I really kind of want to get my hands on. I would love to order this for the shop. I would probably, without having even looked at this or seen this or even heard of it before the last couple of days, I would assume this is not a beginner book, but this is literally just a list of stitches and how to make them. But wow, wouldn't that be just a cool thing to have on hand? So I think this is a really, really good idea. Anyway, so Stitch Collection, and it looks like this is by Anna Rebecca Otto. I do not know who that is. The whole thing looks a little bit American to me, but I have no idea. I also noticed that they have needle binding written in all the different languages, a lot of different languages. There's actually way more than these, but you got A, and here you got here, A with two A's after each other is just like A with a circle over it. And that's why she has it in there, because she doesn't have A with a circle over it on her keyboard. Nalbinding is German or Dutch, if I remember correctly. Nalbinding is Dutch, or is German. Then you got Nalbinding, which everybody seems to say. I call that Nalbinding. It's kind of an Americanized version of the Scandinavian, I would like to call it, word Nalbinding. Then you have Nalbinding. In Norwegian, you would have both of those, but it would have a circle over the A, and then we'd say Nalbinding and Nalbinding. Nail binding, I don't like this word at all, actually. I think that's a mistake. Nail binding has nothing to do with nails. It is somebody who mistranslated N-A-L. But anyway, there you've got the two A's, which represents a single A with a circle over it in both forms. Ladebinding I haven't heard before. Needle binding is the direct translation of null binding. Looping is an old name for it, and looped needle knitting is probably the same as a single needle knitting, but there's a whole bunch of different names for this. Vatnasmoord, Nalbinding, there's many. Okay, and then you have, this is James who had posted this picture. It's kind of crooked though, but you can get the idea. What I imagine this book is it's got a stitch, and he's super happy because his caribou stitch that he made up is in here. And named and posted on Facebook a while ago. That one, he didn't know about it. It was a surprise. So someone picked that up and put it in here. It has a little picture of the stitch. It has, you can see the movements from the row. How it is, I got to go a little bit lower there. How they would do this into either the U's and the O's or with the numbers. And then it says something else there about the stitch. So it looks like it's just going to be rows and rows of stitches. And I think there's 75 if I've heard correctly, which I think is an awesome idea. Let's see, we'll flip that back up again. Another picture I set aside was this one. I have not heard, oh my gosh, I got a lot of background noise in my screen here. There. That one I haven't heard of before, but this is apparently, Cherry Knobloch had found it. She said this is another excellent book, Amazon, all looping, but with lots of non-hat mitten scarf ideas. And if you look really, really closely, shit, all that talking and I hit the sound button. I'm sorry.
We might not be at the
When
professional
I
level
was
yet.
zooming, no, it's because they put the microphone on the screen now, so you can tap it and off. But the thing is, when I zoomed in, so I think what it left off is when I was trying to zoom in on the German book, you could see they actually put little beads in there, which is kind of a cool idea, but that might be kind of time consuming. You'd have to do half the stitch, put a bead on, finish the stitch. But it was quite a cool concept that they could mix beading and Nalbinding, just like you can crochet, for example. If you look really closely, tease. Okay, yeah, so that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the little beads on there. Because they're kind of, it would be nice if they had colored beads so you could see it better, but they're little clear beads. And then, yeah, no, I think that was all the books there. Okay, so then we don't have all the books in our library here in Norway. Actually, we're missing a lot of them in Viking Valley. But I do have my honorable mentions. That was the way to go. I did have Mariana Erverby's Nalbinding book, which we did not find. It's the orange one. She's really quick to post it in chats. That one, if I could have found it, I would have showed you. It lists a lot of stitches, and it lists them in the types, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5. She does not use the thumb at all, so you'd have to understand the concept pretty well of Nalbinding without your thumb for that book to be of use. It is also, she's Danish, and she has, I don't know if she's translated it directly or who she had translated into English, but the book is, that's not this book, but one half would be in Danish and the other half would be in English. And if you have a basic understanding of Scandinavian languages, then you'll be able to understand the English translation. But it is not translated super well, so it's really confusing if you don't. Because I can read Danish, it's okay. It's actually pretty good for me. But I would not label that one a user-friendly book. I think it's great to have as a resource, but it's not user-friendly at all. But that book we couldn't find in time for this. So if I find it later, then maybe I can show it. This one is one of my favorites. I will put it this way so you can see it better. Let's see. I'm still zoomed, maybe? Yeah. Okay. Nalbinding, what in the world is that? Nalbinding, what in the world is that? It's also called Was ist das? It's Ulrike Clausen-Büttner. And she, yeah, here you can see there. It's a history of technique and almost forgotten handcraft. It's really good for history. She shows you how to make the spirals, for example. There's more in there. Different kinds of beginnings, how to make slippers. I'm, of course, flipping through backwards because nobody ever reads a book the way it was meant to be written. She's got photo instructions with different ways to do. All these books will have photo instructions. There she's got the Dalby stitch, so she's getting out of the Oslo family, so she does more than just the basic ones. York, for example. And then she's got really, really good diagrams, but tips and tricks too, a whole page on that. About how to tension, for example, is in there. Your materials, different kinds of needles. She says this is a collection of Nalbinding needles made from different materials in various shapes and sizes: wood, bone, metal, antler, plastic. I don't know if she goes into the detail about, that's actually a video I want to do, though. I will go through some needles and tell you what are the bonuses of certain shapes and others, and then we can count all the innuendos in the end on that one. But I have to get all my needles together to show that. But anyway, I don't know how much she goes into detail there. The rule of thumb with needle binding needles, though, is the wand chooses the wizard, Harry Potter. If it feels comfortable in your hand, it's the right needle for you. Then she goes into a lot into the history of, like, there's the Oslo mitten from Oslo, Sweden. There's also the St. Timian's hat, which everybody wants to be Viking, but it is actually right after Viking. Oh, and this also has the Trier stitch, which is quite cool. She shows that one anyway. That one, everybody asks, how do you do F4? But that's what makes that hat. But this is really, really good for history. She had the Jorvik sock there, which we just zipped past, the Coptic socks. So this one, I really, really like it for the history of it. But it's actually, here's a table of contents, actually, so you can see. Oh, and a little autograph from Ulrika, because she likes me. I won a contest. There you can see history and techniques of Nalbinding. There's at least 51 pages about that. Then it goes instructions for another 40. Practical projects, so you can do patterns. I can show you that in a minute. And a little needle binding gallery as well, and then a short overview of well-known Nalbinding stitches, and of course the bibliography. So if we go to, here's some things that people have made. I don't know, I can't hold it open very well. Like that owl, I think we've all seen that one pop up every once in a while on Facebook and Pinterest. There, she's got Amy Vandervorst is, it looks like lace. Amy Vandervorst is also Shy Red Fox from United States. Yeah, it's mentioned right there at the bottom there. She's got a tutorial online where you can do that. But big projects like this one too. I haven't seen that one in a while. But she has, yeah, there's the socks. Sock style. See if I can open this up. There you've got different kinds of heels. 3 different heel methods, and I believe she goes into detail about that. This book I don't think is available in color anymore. I got this one directly from her. There you got embroidery on top, or applique actually, that might be. Little cat hat, because cats. There she's got someone who's, this actually has a pattern too, by the way, this little pouch for phones. She does have a sock pattern. Yeah, there's the spiral pattern. Slipper patterns in here, and I think she has a hat pattern in there. Some really basic patterns and more than one stitch. So this one, by far, if you want history, this is my favorite one. It, like I said, it is black and white, but you don't lose anything really for that. Then you have another one of my favorites. With one needle. This one is really hard to find, from what I understand. We do have available in the shop. I'm not sure how we're going to do online or a web shop without the web shop up anymore, but we'd find a way to get it to you if you wanted. But the shipping will cost an arm and a leg. This one's by Mervi Passanen. She's from Finland. It was translated to Norwegian. If you need a Norwegian one, it's called Menol. Otherwise, and then they finally came out with an English one with one needle, how to Nalbind, and Nalbind actually. This one took me forever to get. I think like 3 years it took us to get it in the shop. The reasons why these are not cheap in our shop, 398 kroner, and they probably will go up another 20 kroner this year due to inflation. If you can get one straight from the publisher, that's what we had to do, and we had to buy a bunch of them at a time. But this is from Sweden, and we're in Norway, so we had to do import and everything, and then yeah. But it can be hard to get. But this one, actually, if I look at the beginning, she's got beautiful pictures. Amazing work. So there you can see. She's got a bit on the history, but most of it is technical. I mean, most of it is practical. So if you want a really good practical book, this would be the one. So she's got more than one way to start, by the way. But there's like one called the knot start. That's how I start mostly. The easiest one, I think. One called the mouse ear, traditional starts, all these different ways to start. Then she's got how to be able to read the notations, for example, the over and under, front, back. Stitches that are used in this book, and there's quite a few of them. How to join your yarn, which splicing methods you want to use. I believe time for thumb is, yeah, if you're going to be binding on your thumb, or if not, I think she covers both techniques in this one. Different kinds of heels, how to fit it, by the way. Which is a really good one because needle binding does actually change its shape within like 3 rows. Patterns, you can learn how to make the basic socks, Klasbritta socks. That's the one that has like that finger heel. That's the one I made actually, that's over on the couch there. Measurements for a knee-high sock, mittens, and hats. One thing I thought was kind of interesting in her pattern is she uses the number of stitches. She actually says increase 5 stitches here and, you know, cast on for I don't know how many stitches as well, which is something I thought was actually quite brave, and that's why I wanted to make the socks. I have to go with measurement because it depends on the stitch you're using in the gauge, but it actually was pretty close for what I was using. Stripes and embroideries, how to do those different things on their embellishments. Mittens, all kinds of different types of mittens. Socks, scarves, hats, and of course a pouch. I like that she's got a cat hat in there too. But yeah, she's also got round hat, pointed hat, neck warmers even in there, and that's under scarves. Here you can see her socks. I got to see some of these mittens at Faubourg. Museum, not Faubourg, what was it called? Not Enköping. Anyway, in Sweden at some sort of at a museum. This is her husband, I believe. I should get Karl to hold the gimbal. That one's a nice pointed hat, and I believe she's using, I don't know which stitch she's using there. Yeah, finished 2 + 2, yeah. So beautiful. She does really nice Nalbinding. But I like the nice colored pages. There's one with the pom-pom on it. There's her shawl. This is Mervi, by the way. Everyone meet Mervi. Really nice lady, extremely knowledgeable. She also does a lot of weaving as well. You should check out her Instagram. I think it's Swamervi. There's her shawl that she made. those socks with a open front kind on it. She's got patterns on them. These are the socks that she was wearing in there. But you'll see here, there she says, for example, on that first one, make a turn and then put the needle through the fourth and third loops, for example. She's actually using numbers, which I thought was quite brave. But they worked. There's the socks I made with that heel. Here you've got embellishment on socks. There she's got the round start toe, which is kind of a cute thing. There you got the afterthought heel. That's the one I do most often. Of course, I'm reading the book backwards because it makes better. How to do stripes, and you can see there how they kind of jog. But she does do color change in here. She adds a little bit of tablet weaving because you can incorporate that in that to it. She's very good at tablet weaving. This is where her tablet weaving was incorporated in. There's that coloring technique as well. Mittens with vertical stripes, she calls it, yeah. That's not self-striping yarn, by the way. There she's got a rosette that shows you how to do that. That's a bit like that Amy van der Vorste braid thing going around the edge. How to do braiding on a mitten. Let's see. How to form fit. Yeah, and then here you've got how to do things like the toes and... Well, that was darning a hole, actually. But she shows you how to make the thumb holes, and then, of course, splicing methods. More than one. I'm flipping through quick because I don't want to show too much. Here you got lots of stitches. So her stitches will show finish 2 plus 2, finish 2 plus 2, F1, F2, finish 2 plus 3, finish 2 plus 2, F2, twist with a stitch, half finish. I like that she puts a half stitch in there. And then she's got Malmen, Broden, Oslo F1, Oslo F2. She's got quite a few stitches in here anyway. So this book I really, really like for practical. This one I like if you want to be more on the history side of it. But they're both, you should have both if you need to have books. Okay, then we go to the next one. This one we have in the shop as well. This one's pretty basic. I don't start the way she does, but other than that, I think it's just fine. You'll notice there's 2 versions of these. We did not know until about 2 years ago, and then I immediately grabbed as many copies as we could. This one is in 2 languages. This is Swedish and in English, and this one is in French and German. Exact same book, and this is Nusse Mellgren's book. So when she has these, she has a lot of colorful. This is very basic, though, but you'll have it in English here, and you'll have it in Swedish there. So you could learn a little of the language if you want to, but she has a goofy way of starting. It does work. It's just not my favorite, but everything else she'll show you would be Mammen and Oslo. I think she goes up to Broden as well, but you'll get the idea where you can kind of do your own stitch. How to do the second row. There's a pattern for a hat. And she's even got how to do wrist warmers. This kind of sock or slipper. But yeah, she's got the sweater in there. There's a guy, I forget his name for the life of me now, but he's absolutely amazing needle binder. He has a sweater that's on Pinterest. Sometimes you'll see it that it's formed like this. And I don't know if anybody else shows how to make this kind of sweater on there where it's shaped like that instead of the way where I do mine, which is like here and then like an armband and then a shoulder band and then arms. They do it differently. This is the afterthought heel, for example. Adding more thread, how to splice, but I think she only shows spit splice on here. And then how to put it back on your thumb, which is always very important. So this one's a very basic one, but you know, it's fine if you just want to get going. But be in mind that be aware that that's not the only way you can start. There's more ways to start, but you just, once you get going anyway, then it's good. But I do like that this one comes in French and German as well, because I do not know of any other book that has French. So I did ask her if she could make a Spanish one, though, and she said she would check in, see if with her suppliers, if she thought that it were the people they supply to, if they thought there was enough market for it, and I hope so. So let's see. Then we have Randi Stoltz. Randi Stoltz is one of our own Vikings. She's from Bergen. She also does amazing tablet weaving, but this one is only in Norwegian. It's kind of similar to that last book I showed you, though. She's got a different start there as well. This is a bit like a similar start to the one that Sana does. But she doesn't call it Mammen. She calls it Tupluk, which the Norwegians would know what that means. Tupluk means you're taking two behind your thumb and turning. So she will call it Tupluk, and I think she says Trepluk. How to bind in a circle, to increase, to decrease, how to do the top of a mitten or the top of a hat. How to splice. See you, Garcia. How to taper in the beginning and in the end. Yeah, and then there's some more. But anyway, this one is a nice basic one for it if you really want it just to be a Norwegian. If you're struggling with translating this stuff over to English, then this is a good way to go. And then, of course, she's got patterns. So this is the wrist warmers, mittens, different kind of mittens. She's also shows how to make a mobile telephone etui, which is basically a phone case. How you can do socks. So that one's quite nice for that. Then we have Ann Decker. We got to show hers too. Ann Decker's got more than this, I'm sure, but these are the ones that we have available. We're trying to get more of these. She's called Sigrid Briansdotter in SCA, but it's Anne-Marie Decker. She also has a Zoom every Sunday or Saturday, depending where you live. Nalbinding Aid Made Easy. This is a good one for starting. So there she covers the materials you're going to need, a glossary to make you understand everything a little bit better, method of work, directions for Mammen, all that. Projects you can make with it, scarves, hats, mittens, short rows, confusing reference and sources, history of Nalbinding. There's a little bit of that in there. But you can see if you're familiar with Anne's work, she works with this really thick cording because it displays everything so well, and she's got nice fingernails too. But she really kind of goes through everything step by step, and you can see that she's explaining that you'll recognize some of these diagrams from Pinterest. But this is not in color, it's black and white, but that's just because it's become so expensive to have them printed now. How to increase. But I like this cord that she works with. It really does define the loops much, much better. There she is all bundled up. Everyone, meet Anne. So she's got some patterns, scarves, hats, mittens, separate heels. She just kind of explains how you do that, though. And the confusing references and sources, yeah, like knotless knitting, for example, can be confused. Anne's really, really good when it comes to history, by the way. If you ever have any questions, that's the one. She's great at it. So that's Anne's book, but Anne also has an advanced book, which I like. This is the Osla mitten, and it's done in the Osla stitch, which looks like this on one side and this on the other. I like that there's something out there that's for more advanced needle binding. But she doesn't, I think she covers more than just the stitch. She covers into as well the history of it. So it's the start, normal stitch, pivoting. Oh, it's to make the whole mitten, actually. So it's basically just the pattern for the mitten, but it will also go in the history of it, I'm sure. Yep, the history of Nalbinding, the Osla mitten itself. The work, the needle, type, directions how to do. Oh, she has a hat, mitten, sock, too. So it's not just the... It's been a while since I flipped through these. I should have mounted the camera on someone. This would be much easier. That was your first book, not helpful, but great book. Yeah, it's very good, but this is not a beginner book. This is a beginner book. This is nice to have an advanced one. But then again, after a while, you kind of want something that's advanced. Do you have Anne's books in the store? Yes, I do. We have these two currently. This one is running low, but we are getting more sent. Maria Lindhale has a stash that she's sending to me so that we can use. But yes, we have Ann Decker's book in the store, these two. She's probably got some more out there, I'm quite sure, but you'd have to get them on her website, and she does have PDF downloads if you like that more. But Anne is extremely good, and she will always help you if you need on Zoom. So Maria Lynn Hale is another one worth honorable mention. She has a lot of these. We only have some of these left. We just ordered some more, and they're on the way. These are specifically, if you know how to needle bind, this is how you make socks. This is how you make hats. This is how you make wrist warmers. It's very specific anyway. So if you want just the one thing, you can do that. She also has one, actually I should show you the books because I don't have all of them. Let's see if maybe orange shows up a little bit better. There you go. She's got wrist warmers, socks, hats, mittens, one for a sweater, which is quite handy. I know there's not too many sweaters around. Christmas, these are little decorations and everything. Neck warmers. How to play food, that's another fun one too. They're little pieces of like, yeah, food, vegetables. Hearts, how to make little heart-shaped ones. Splicing methods, it's just the book is completely focused on different ways to do splicing. Shawls, which is a very popular one because those are kind of tricky if you don't know how to do back and forth. And connection stitches. But she also, these are the ones we ran out of, but we got more coming. How to do if you just want to do York and Oslo stitches, the book is just focusing on those. York and stitch for left-handers, which is quite nice. And Mammen, Broden, and Longerid stitches, which is in one book. And then also for the left-handers. She does also have Dalby and Telemark. How's the beer, Karl?
Gone.
He says it's gone, Torben. No, anyway, but yeah, that she's got these for left-handers, and she's got more of these. You can see these were earlier on. But these are also PDF downloadable. Here she's got Telemark and Vendel stitch. Sorry, not Dalby, but Telemark and Dalby are so close. And then for the left-handed as well. So she's got quite a few. And then I have one more. Oh yeah, I can show you the sock, for example. How to make socks, how she does that. So there she'll tell you how to, it's just literally step by step. But if you want a book that just focuses on one thing, that's what this is really good for. Sometimes you don't want a big encyclopedia with you. You just want what you want to learn. You already know how to do everything else, but not that. Then that's perfect. And then I have one more to show you, but it looks like this because we can't get a hold of the damn book. Someone donated this to us. This is called Nalbinding, and it's by Marta Broden, if you recognize the last name. Broden is the name of a stitch. And she goes through quite a bit about the history and the use of it. This is unfortunately in Swedish. If you don't speak Swedish, you're kind of screwed. But you can get an idea of things you can see in there. I'm going really quickly through because we're like way over. She also talks about
opposite of being screwed.
The
if you don't speak Swedish, your odds of being Swedish are pretty low. So
okay, you're the Norwegians and the Swedes, of course. It's like Wisconsin and the Minnesota Vikings versus Packers. It doesn't work very well. But here she'll break down about the fibers and wool and why they work so well for this, for needle binding. There you can see. So she really gets into detail about that. Again, different fibers. But then she also goes into felting, which is a big one. When you're felting, how much do you need to shrink, etc. But that is also based a bit on the fibers. And then she'll go into patterns soon. That one I've seen all over Pinterest too. I like this idea too, this embroidery on top. But she also has a cinch top hat. So if you're not sure how to decrease, you can actually just cinch and it looks quite cute too. And then she's got the round turn for scarves. There you go. This is the whole bit about felting. Tilverkning. So she will tell you, for example, for plagg som ska vaknes beräknar man 2, eventuellt 3 centimeter klippemån på längden och bredden. For pieces of clothing or articles of clothing anyway that are going to be felted or valkat, it's a different kind of felting. You have to account for 3 centimeter to 3 centimeter shrinkage due to the length and to the width, and then she goes into more detail about that. If you sew it, if you needle bind tighter, then it will shrink less. And then she tells us about the hand, splicing, different kinds of yarn. And then she has like these kind of drawings to show you how to increase to go when you're going around. Or turning, actually, I should say, around like that. And then the binding itself. And then we get into the second half, I think. Yeah, then she gets into the patterns. So there you've got the, what do they call it, the Klossbrytna heel or whatever, but the tongue type heel. And there you see your increases and things. Some of these you've seen on Pinterest too, I'm sure. These drawings. And then we'll get to part 2 here. It's the same book. It's just that this is how we got it. Mittens. Here's that heel, by the way. This is actually supposed to be one big long picture. The different types of heels, how to the toes, mittens, more mitten sizing. I don't know if you can get a hold of this book, but it's literally just called Nalbinding. But it's in Swedish. Marked up broden. Here I thought was a cool idea. A little bit of tablet weaving on the side. If it's not tablet weaving, it's finger weaving, I'm not sure, but that's kind of a cool technique. And you can do a loop on the end. There she shows how to do the scarf thing. The cinched top on the hat. The pom-pom, and then this is something else. Anyway, so that was, whoop, let's see if I can turn this down. My gimbal doesn't want to go back to the original position. There. Okay, so we are now officially 2 hours. No, I guess this is no longer 1 hour anymore. And Karl and the cat, have you survived all that?
Yeah, no, there's been a changing of the guards and
Yeah.
the other cat.
So I'm sorry I should have started with this early, but we got so caught up in everything else. I thought it was going to end with the YouTube conversation, and we ended it in the middle.
Just an hour or
We're only an hour over.
Hour maybe.
Yeah, in the summer, though, we're not going to be able to do an extra hour. I'm sure of it. We'll be too tired, but because then all the tourists will be back. But there's far more needle binding books than that, and there's that new one I would love to get a hold of this, which is the Connections, but I have to contact the author and see if we could order it for the store. Because that one looks really, really promising. And there's way more books than this, but those two by far are my favorites. These ones are really great if you want a lot of history and practical, and a lot of practical with great ideas. A lot of stitches, everything. And then you've got another one that I really like a lot, is Andecker's Simple Ones, if you want them to easy to carry around, and it covers a lot too. Or if you just want the pattern itself. Get away from the lamp, you stupid cat. No, there he goes. Get. No. There. Okay, now I got to catch up on chat and see. It's like you're pulling from my library. Very cool book, says Maggie. Oh, good. Then you have good taste. Those ones are pretty much my favorite. Actually, believe it or not, the only one these are the only two I own, are these two. And I wasn't able to get this one. Like I said, I won it in a contest. My kid bought me something to store my needles in, which looks like either it's for cigars or maybe it was for double pointed needles. I have no idea. But she did a little contest that says, let's see what you store your needles in. So I sent a picture of my kid holding this. She found it at an antique shop. And I thought it was so great, and the picture was so cute that I put out. So, apparently I won a book for that. So I was very happy. So I have my own little book from Ulrika with a little note in there. Which was nice. Yep, have fun with the book. Best regards, Ulrika. Dear Karin, have fun with the book. Anyway, I thought that was kind of fun. So good on my kid, because that book is hard to find. I think you might have better luck finding the German one. And I guess this one is hard to find for the moment. I know where you can find them, but it's going to be costly. But the publishing company is in Sweden, so they might be costly in the United States too. I would assume you'd have to pay the import fees and then from there. James says he's liking the new Japanese technique, but actually that reminds me of, that's the confusing thing with the knot I have to figure out. There is a Japanese book that is absolutely amazing. Anne got a hold of it. Apparently the diagrams and ideas in there are so great and so good that you don't actually have to read Japanese. If you know how to needle bind, you can, don't kill the couch. Now I won't let him play with the lamp, so he's killing the couch. That book I would love to get my hands on. That one looks really, really good, and everybody swears by it. The Japanese Nalbinding book. Let's see, what else did I miss here in chat? Okay, good. Not everybody fell asleep to what I was saying. Just Torben and Karl. And Robert. I'm with Karl on that one. Let's see. It's in 2 languages. I think it was English originally, but I love it. That would be the... let's see, wait. Maggie said had to search her name to find it on Amazon. The Mary Posanen one, maybe. I should show you that's how she spells her name, by the way. Mervi Pasanen. I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong. She's from Finland. And then we have Ulrike Klassen Butner, if you need her name. Then you have Anne-Marie Decker in parentheses at the bottom. That one, she's got her own PDF, so you could get that one directly from her. You don't have to go to Amazon. And the same thing for Maria Lind Hale. You can get those directly from her as well. Let's see. You'll have to go back and pause if you need. Oh, then they're mirrored. You'll have to hold the phone up to a mirror. I'm not turning it around. I'm too lazy. Max says, I had that book. I'm thinking that I'm getting the book. I'm getting book by Miss Mervi Pasanen. Yeah, you'll love that book. The pictures are absolutely amazing. She also did also took part in another book about socks. These are knitted socks, but actually not just, most of them are knitted socks, but they also have crochet and null-bound socks, and she submitted a couple pairs of null-bound socks. The famous one that has the little weaving at the top. It kind of looks like a braid. Do I have, yeah, we answered that one. We have Anne's book in the store. Can I hold one for you? Yes, I can. You can have this one. I borrowed it from the store. Unless you want the Oslo one, I'll put that one aside too. I will hold them for you, Karin. Let's see what else I missed. I haven't looked at this book several times, but did notice a few things that you mentioned here. Oh, of these books, yeah. Unfortunately, the one my sister got me for my birthday didn't include the sweater, said Max. Oh, is that... I heard rumors that this one had a sweater in it, and I don't know what version that is because I've never seen it myself. From what I understand, this is a third version. Yeah. It's in English too. In this, the expanded third edition of Nalbinding, you will find clear instructions of photos that are easily can follow. 2 different techniques, one from medieval find from Lund, which is also the Oslo stitch, and one from a Viking age from Melman. Patterns and instructions on how to make wrist warmers, socks, and a sweater, it says, but I didn't think there was a sweater in here. Oh, it's this one, yeah. But I'm pretty sure ours are the 4th version. Well, if you want, Max, I can copy that page for you and send it to you. You can send me a message to my email in the description, and I can do that. If you want just the page. Because this one is from our library. Property of Guas. So it might be an older version, this one. I didn't think about this one. I thought ours were 4th. This is the 3rd. This is the newer one. You're right. You're right. Look, it's got the sock. And then it goes straight into splicing. There is no sweater in this one. Nope, you're right. So then we have the 4th version. I'm pretty sure we have this one in English in the store as well. This one's from our library. But like I said, I can copy that page for you if you want. Since it's no longer possible to get it. So yeah, no, after showing that whole book that they can find a sweater, I didn't think about that. It doesn't show a sweater in it. I had those downloaded on Etsy by PDF, and I'm only getting my hands on it every holiday season for like Christmas at least, my day, unfortunately. I hate gluing Necron, says Torben. How's your painting going, by the way, Karl?
I am cutified.
He hasn't gotten much done. He did add some brown, though. So now it's got green and brown. I gave you a lot of time to paint when I was babbling on about the books, and you just sat there and petted your pussy and drank a beer. Not for kids. Let's see, what other questions did I miss in here? Looks like my toothbrush holder needle tube. Yeah, I don't know where she got this, but it is so cool. It's got a little crack in it, but that's the way it came. Like I said, it was in an antique shop. But maybe a toothbrush, I don't know. I kind of want to say cigar, but it could fit DPNs in there too. It's like the right height. So I put some needles in there. Priorities, cats win, says Maggie. Karl, you're lucky. Okay. Anyway, so hopefully I didn't miss too much, but we did go way on overtime. So yeah, if you have any ideas for, definitely put them in the comments. What to do when we go into the whole membership thing, what would be a good perk, etc. Little video ideas. We really like the idea of that, but we won't make that one an option. We won't make the memberships an option until we have a little stash of videos available, so that if I get slow, we have some already done. Anything else, Carl?
Not that I can think of.
I want to see reaction videos. He needs more beer. I have to go get him some food. Nikki says, just finished my little pouch with Mom and started this morning, 2 hours. Feed is good. Oh, good job. Well, I finished this one. I was just finishing the end of it when I was talking to you earlier. The Freddy Krueger ones. Okay, no, anyway, I think I babbled on so much that Carl's falling asleep. But thanks for hanging on for the books. I forgot to put that in earlier. If hopefully anybody else who wanted to see the books just fast forwards until they see books. So, good?
Yes.
Okay. We'll see you later. Next week, Saturday is not a problem as far as I understand. But it will be a new stitch. I have to finish that damn hat. The workbench works excellent, by the way, says Torben. Oh, we need that. Okay, we're going to dismantle that light now so the cat can move with freedom. See you.